Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us once again this Tuesday night. I am your Game Master Double H, and this, of course, is PZ85 Plays. We are coming to you with the final, I swear this time, the final installment of our second Horrors of Perryville adventure, The Last Rites of the Blackguard. Before we go any further, let me briefly introduce the cast once more. We have the co-owner of Podzilla 1985, Slynet, he's self-aware, Shannon Young.
And important note, soon to be starring in the remake of Joe's Apartment.
I thought it was a sequel. I thought we settled on sequel.
Well, we had Jerry O'Connell locked in, and then it fell through, so...
Oh, man, it was Jerry O'Connell, wasn't it?
It was Jerry O'Connell, and that's it. I don't remember another thing about that film.
I remember roaches. Lots of them.
I want to send a special shout-out to the district in Cape Girardeau. When I said I thought I was going to be lonely, they said, "We got you covered. We have plenty of roommates for you."
And then they tried to kill them all. Tried being the operative word.
Well, the thing about cockroaches, they come back.
Just down the way, we have Lindsey Wolfgong.
Hello.
Also at the district, but with zero roaches.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm going to really try not to mess this up because this is the first time I'm recording myself and not just tagging along on Shannon.
I'm going to really need you to clarify what you meant by fewer.
What?
Him.
Oh, no,
he said with fewer roaches.
Well,
I have zero roaches. I have some spiders, but I don't have roaches.
That happens.
Technically, zero is fewer.
That's true, but that's why I said I need you to clarify.
Oh, gotcha.
And to round out the group, we've got the man himself, Tanner Calvert.
I'm just happy baseball's back, guys. I'm just here.
Well, Tanner, unfortunately, I've got some bad news for you.
What's that?
I know this is not the show where we talk about these things, but I do want to mention I just saw, and I haven't had a chance to put it in the group chat yet, so someone else might have beat me to it. Ron Jeremy was arrested today for, I believe, 4 counts of sexual assault and rape against women. Who would have thought?
Are you surprised?
Who would have thought that?
Anyway,
Porn
Don't
legend
we have
Ron
enough?
Jeremy.
Don't we have enough of that to talk about on Wednesday? This is not PWU.
It's not. Well, I mean, when do you talk about Ron Jeremy? What show do you shove him in? You know?
Thursday?
Oh.
Thursday's too good for him. Also, Hunter, I want to let you know that despite the fact that I don't have my coffee machine, and even if I did have it, I sure as hell wouldn't put it out right now. Or at all, probably. I still have coffee because I bought that mocha iced coffee and I'm poured into a solo cup. So here we go.
There you go. That's a good move.
You
That's
do have
you
your
do.
coffee machine. It's just still in a box that you refuse to unpack because of your friends.
Yeah, that machine's going to stay in that... I almost cussed. Wait, we do cuss on the show. Stay on that fucking box, too.
We do now. It's done. It's something you can do.
Let's get on with the ghosts.
So, again, this is the 4th installment of Last Rites of the Blackguard. Up to this point, what you need to know is you need to go back and listen to those other episodes, or none of this is going to make any sense. But a brief recap is that our cast has been in the midst of a paranormal investigation. Of course, in the Savage Worlds games, they are playing characters built around themselves. They are playing fictionalized versions of their real-world counterparts, and they have been in the midst of a paranormal investigation in Lake Catanda in Perryville. A mother, an attorney by the name of Lisa Gray, was concerned about her children, more so her daughter Marissa than her son Matthew. So the team set up. They experienced some paranormal activity. They put several puzzle pieces together, and one by one have slowly been trickling their way next door to the home of a deceased man by the name of Frank Mans, who, come to find out, was actually Dr. Franz Heimglimmer, a member of the Berkun, or the Blackguard, the Nazi paranormal division. He had escaped to the United States and had been living under this assumed identity for some time. He passed away, I believe it was a couple of weeks prior to this, and so his house was seemingly unoccupied, though Shannon was the first one to find out that on this particular night that was not the case, and he encountered Captain in the Israeli army, Ahuva Shapiro, who now works as a private investigator and is in the midst of investigating this home for any further Nazi regalia, memorabilia, or anything else she can dig up on Heimglimmer's activities. In our last session, Tanner also made his way over to the home and encountered the two of them. They found a list in a book that seemed to be handwritten, and also seemed to be quite a few members of prominent Perryville citizens, I should say. who kind of put two and two together, suggesting that Heimglimmer may have been attempting to create a new Berkun here in the United States. Meanwhile, Lindsey decided to watch TV on the couch back at the Grey Home.
Well, I guess technically I was watching TV. Watching
I made an assumption.
On the TV.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You were watching Tanner's.
I'd rather be watching Adult Swim or something.
Well, you can roll for it. That's something you can do. So at this point, she was back at the Grey Home. It is at this point in time, I believe it is 3 a.m. If I remember correctly. And when we left off in that very moment, Tanner, Shannon, and Ahuva had come across a hidden doorway behind a cabinet in the Heimglimmer home in the dining room that was behind a china cabinet. That was a set of stairs leading down. When they opened the door, an extreme cold rushed up toward them. It felt like the temperature dropped upward of 30 degrees in a moment, and this sense of dread kind of came over them. But that's where we left with the three of them at the top of the steps. Anything else we need to cover before we begin? Have I left anything out?
I miss Gilbert Gottfried.
He's still around.
Is he not dead?
No.
Did you see who did die?
Many people.
Joel Schumacher.
Mm-hmm.
I did see that.
That's
need
sad.
to talk about that at some point, but not now.
Anyway, no.
One thing mechanically to cover is that I don't know if I mentioned this on the show last week, so for anyone keeping score at home, everyone got an additional Benny at the end of the last session. So at this point, Shannon has 2, Lindsey has 1, and Tanner has 1 to spend as necessary. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to pick up right where we left off in the Heimglimmer home. The three of you standing at the top of the set of steps. The door opens. There's an extreme cold that rushes up. A sense of dread comes over you. And Ahuva says, well, what are we waiting for?
That's where we were.
Ladies first.
Wow. Very chivalrous of you, Tanner.
She's got a gun.
Do you know that?
That's true. You got a little Shannon mouse in your pocket? Shannon knew it.
Well, I mean,
She's not walking around with it in her hands at this point.
I know, but when I came in, she was definitely reaching for something in the waistband of the back of her pants.
You don't know. She might have had a kielbasa in there.
Well, you can tell her how to hide it.
At this point, what she reaches... God. What she reaches for inside her jacket is a small mag light, about a palm-sized mag light. It's pretty bright, but it's relatively, small. Pulls it out, pops it on, and says, well, if we must. She looks around for a light switch. There does seem to be one a little ways inside, but she toggles it up and down on the left-hand side, and it does not appear to do anything.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to pull my cell phone light out and give her some additional light. I'm going to say, excuse me, while I whip this out. And then I pull the phone out.
Okay.
Oh.
Thank you, Tanner. I'm going to need you to back me up on these things. These make me look like an asshole.
Sorry, I was concentrating on my coffee.
My coffee's gone and no roaches in it, so let's do it.
So, Ahuva makes her way down the steps. You can now see that they are an unfinished wooden set of steps. This is a relatively new home, so it's new construction, but they're not carpeted or anything like that. They're just plain, really basic, relatively new wooden steps. As you guys make your way down, it definitely seems like your lights are getting dimmer, though they're not flickering in and out. It's not full-on horror trope. They just don't seem to illuminate the way they did back at the top of the steps the further you go down. Takes you probably at least 10 steps to get down into the main area of the basement, which you find pretty quickly to be almost completely empty. Interestingly enough, the room there is circular as opposed to squared off, as you might expect. You would anticipate scanning your lights around that it's probably 30 feet in diameter around in any particular direction. What really gets your attention, though, is that there are all sorts of images scrawled onto the wall in almost like a black chalk from the looks of things. There's writing in languages that you do not read. There are images of figures that are scratched into the surface, almost like a little kid drew them with a crayon really quickly. And in the center of the room, as you come down the steps and sort of you walk directly into the center of the room, basically, is a large pentagram drawn on the floor.
Oh, I don't like this.
It's sketched out in white chalk, and it almost completely covers the center of the room. As your lights pass over it, you notice, too, the chalk is like luminescent. It's like every time you pass over it, the chalk almost glows in response. In the center of the pentagram lays a shrouded figure on their back. And it's not clear from your position at the base of the steps, male, female, regardless, but they have some sort of shroud laid over them. As best you can tell, it does look like their arms are folded across their chest. But what they're wearing, what they look like underneath that shroud is not very clear. You can, however, see a foot sticking out on the end, and there's a brown tag attached to one of the big toes. Ringing the pentagram are red candles, some of which have definitely been burned and have melted down onto the ground. And then on the opposite side of the room is a small rectangular table, and there are some sort of stone statues on the other end. But really beyond that, you can't see anything in particular.
Well, that doesn't look good. Tanner,
You don't say.
I think this is your area of expertise.
What? How so? What am I missing? Why?
And this is the part where I look at him and I go, well, I assume you know what you're doing. I mean, your name's in the title. And then I look at the camera and I wink.
What camera? Where's the camera?
Okay, Deadpool.
I say, what,
Is this wait? Is
what the
this
fuck
not
are you
that?
winking at? There's dead people here. Apparently dead.
Well, get close to it and touch it to turn it on and find out.
Turn it on. Are you pranking me right now? Is this an animatronic?
Yes, Tanner. Oh my God. You're gonna make me get loud. You're gonna make me get loud in this house with this pretty girl and this dead body. Just
Okay.
what do we do?
I'm gonna uncover.
As the two of you are having this discussion, Ahuva has already made her way across the room. She definitely sidesteps the pentagram as best she can and hugs the wall. She keeps her light toward the body in the center of the room, but doesn't approach it. As a matter of fact, she makes her way to the table on the opposite side of the room and starts to investigate the statues there.
Okay. Can I start studying the drawings on the wall? See if I can figure out what those are.
Yeah, you can do that. Are you trying to? What exactly do you want to know? You want to take a look at them? You want to see if you can pinpoint what some of them are?
A bit of both. See if I can recognize whether or not there's some kind of written language or something like that. You know.
All right. Yeah, make me a smarts roll, and I'll do some modifying on my end exactly how that works out for you.
Uh-oh. Hang on 1 second. I forgot. Mine is not up.
Well, basically what I'm getting at is you don't have a particular knowledge skill that is specific about linguistics or anything like that, so it's just kind of a general smarts roll.
So D4?
So No. It's you still use your smart skill, which is D8.
D8, okay.
I
That's what I'm
just
saying.
have to do
I couldn't remember what it was. I don't have it pulled up.
Yeah, I think it's a D8 anyway. Sorry, I was actually looking at Lindsey's. Yeah, you have a D8 in smarts.
And the wild.
So D8 and D6, you still get your wild die for that too.
Shoots 5.
Pair of 5s?
Yeah.
Okay, so we go with the 5 then. Where exactly do you want to go? You want to follow her path, or you want to go the opposite way? She went to the right.
Okay, I'll go to the left.
It's a circular room, so you want to go to the left?
Yeah.
Okay. That's going to put you going around the head of that body. The body is laid out with if you're looking at it directly from the base of the steps, the head is at the left-hand side, the feet are at the right. So she went by the feet, you're going by the head. Is your goal to end up at that table where she is? You want to go all the way around in the process of this?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so you're kind of just reading as you go along, using your phone flashlight, I guess, is what you got?
Yeah.
Okay. The scrawling is all over the walls, and I mean, what comes to mind to you is like someone in an archaic prison who was given access to something, like they're writing with soot or something, and it is frantic. It's all over the place. It's not clear really what direction it's going in, and again, none of it is in English. So, as best you can tell, sometimes you feel like you can follow the trail of what should be a sentence or some connected words, but there's nothing to read in as much as, oh, that's what that says for you. Along the way, you do get the idea that some of this looks familiar, like maybe some of it is hieroglyphics in some way, or at least Egyptian, perhaps, but it's a crapshoot, basically.
Okay.
At best, you are doing your best to try to forget there's a dead body behind you, and that there's a pentagram on the floor, and that you're reading all this in the dark. So it's just, there's a lot to take in, and even if you didn't have those things, it would be difficult to read.
Okay.
At the end of that, though, of course, you end up at the table where Ahuba is, and she's looking over this table. You see now it's like a card table, like the kind of thing you'd buy at Walmart. It's not anything special, but it has some very intense concrete or stone to some way statuettes on there, and she has one in hand, as a matter of fact. Now, these you do actually notice to some degree. At the very least, you recognize one, the one in the center. There are 7 of them, first of all, and the one in the center is very clearly Osiris.
Okay.
But beyond that, the others are sketchy at best, and she's turning over one of them from the other end in her hand, looking at it with her light, kind of muttering to herself, but not really clear what she's looking at. Shannon, what do you want to do?
You know what? I came to play. I want to check out the dead body.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna step straight up. What's your goal here? You just gonna walk up to it and pull the shroud off, or what are you doing?
Well, I want to. First off, I'm not stupid anymore. I've actually gotten a lot smarter since last week. Believe it or not. I'd like to step toe to freedom, and kind of make sure I'm not walking on anything that I shouldn't walk on, kicking over anything, dusting off any pentagrams, that kind of stuff. But I do want to make my way over there carefully, and at the very least, I want to pull the shroud back to see the face, to see if it's anybody that we may or may not know. Maybe it's Jesse Kimball. I hope not.
Okay, so your goal essentially is to make your way to the center of this pentagram, and then pull away the shroud starting at the head. That's what you're going for?
Yeah,
okay.
At least to the shoulders, at least. I just want to get a good look at this thing's face.
All right. Make me, if you would, an agility roll, please.
That's something I can do poorly, too. Let's get it started.
The good news is you still got that wild die.
2 of them. Oh, no, yeah, well done. All right, but I'm not going to need it. Wait, no. Watch this, though. Tanner, hit me. It's a 6. It's not bad.
Yeah. How you going to tell him to hit you and then hit the thing before he can pray on it? Tanner, watch this. Hit me. Wait!
I already hit it.
All right. Yeah, we'll take obviously the 6 over the 1, so that's good. Yeah, it comes to mind to you pretty quickly, hey, this thing might be something I don't want to disturb. And there's definitely lattice work around the edge of it, so you can kind of tiptoe through that. Getting up closer to it, you can see that it is drawn in chalk, or some sort of chalky substance anyway, and it is very thick, where, the idea that if you disturbed it, you could actually sort of, kick a line through it if you were to do so. But you don't, because you try not to do that. So, yeah, it doesn't take you very long to get there. Using your light, you're basically focused straight on the ground, walking directly up to it. The only other light sources in the room are on the other end of the room now, so it's just you. You take a deep breath, you lay down, you pull that shroud back. You can see now that the person is actually wearing some sort of a shroud garment underneath. It is kind of shapeless and nondescript. It looks like it's probably just like a not burlap, but not super thin either. Somewhere in between. A medium weight cloth of some kind.
It's a cheesecloth.
Yeah, perhaps. Something like that. I knew I should have asked you. And revealing the head, you can now see this is decidedly a female, a woman, who appears to be somewhere in her 40s. If you had to guess, she is, I don't want to say surprisingly not decomposed, because it's a dead body. But, I don't know how many dead bodies you've seen, but this one in particular doesn't really have all the looks of it. This is like something you look at the morgue. There's no color, but her eyes are closed. There's no scratch marks, bite marks. There's no obvious signs of damage. She has long, dark hair. yeah, you would estimate somewhere probably in her middle age, 40, 50, somewhere in that rough area. Beyond that, she looks familiar, but you can't quite pinpoint why.
I'm going to look at Tanner and Ahuva and just say, like, is this someone either of you know?
I guess I will move closer to look, see if it looks familiar, but I doubt I do recognize them.
Okay. Tanner, I will need an agility roll from you if you want to make your way over there.
Okay, 1 second here.
From your vantage point, you're far enough away that you can't make out anything descriptive about the body itself.
Also, while he's doing that, guess what the #1 movie at the box office was for the weekend?
Jurassic
Park.
That's awesome.
Yes. Also on that list, E.T.,
Jaws,
The Goonies. Yeah, I think Jaws was like 3.
Yeah.
2 or 3. Goonies was on there. Back to the Future. Yep.
Yay!
And then some movie called Followed, which I've never heard of that. What is that?
It's a new horror movie that I think they just kind of quietly slipped out there rather than having to put it on a streaming service.
Oh, okay.
It's something about social media and
starring the great John Savage.
Yes, of course.
And I rolled
son of Derek. No. Tanner, you rolled a 6.
I
so
rolled
yeah,
a
you're
6.
fine.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you have no difficulty making your way through the pentagram there. You much like Shannon have a pretty quick thought of I probably shouldn't disturb this. So making your way into it is not any particular difficulty. You bend down, you take a look. Also looks familiar to you, but how so exactly is not immediately clear. You feel like you've seen her somewhere, maybe, but it's just not ringing a bell.
I would like to also take a picture of the corpse and send it to Lindsey in a message that says, do you recognize this person? Also, if possible, ask the mother if she recognizes her. Lindsey loves when I send pictures of dead bodies to her.
Wait a minute, Shannon, do you remember when we were doing
You're going to make me wake her up.
Shannon, remember when we were doing our seance earlier?
Yes.
You remember how the little girl, what was her name, Amy?
Yes.
Mentioned that maybe her body was in the area?
Tanner, how loudly did you say, are you saying this?
As loud as I am right here, like, because I'm actually talking to Shannon.
Okay. At the mention of the word seance, you do, Shannon anyway, because you kind of have your back to her. Shannon sees Ahuva look over and go, and she goes back to work.
Well, I don't care. So yeah,
I'm just putting it out there. That happened.
That's fine. So, like, what? Yeah, I know you gave the description of the body again, but like, what age does this body apparently seem to be?
40s, at best guess.
Yeah, you can now clearly see she's middle aged. Yeah, 40s, 50s, somewhere in that frame. She's dead, so it's a little more difficult to tell. Again, no color, eyes are closed. It's not immediately clear. But yeah, if you had to estimate, you're not a coroner, but 40, 50, somewhere in there.
Okay, well, maybe this isn't Amy, unless Amy survived the camp and was just imprisoned, and then here she is now.
Tanner, have you ever thought that maybe the Amy ghost isn't really the ghost of a little girl, but a demon pretending to be a ghost?
I mean, that's a whole rabbit hole that a lot of people go down with ghost hunting nowadays, so it's possible, I guess.
It's a common occurrence. What if this is all one giant setup?
Well, something's going on because there's a dead body here that we don't know who it is.
Ahuva, you don't know who this dead body is?
Let me make a quick roll here. I was trying to get it going while you guys were talking.
Since you seem to know everything else.
So, Ahuva, seemingly following your path, just, out of concern, steps through the pentagram as well. However, she's not being as lightfoot, and you probably catch your breath a little bit. Fortunately, she doesn't step in anything significant, seemingly. Doesn't kick anything out of place or anything on her way over there. She's not as superstitious, obviously. But she makes her way through, and as you guys are having that discussion, Shannon, when you ask if she might know anything, she happens to be making her way toward the feet. She lifts up the tag on one of the toes and says, Valrune, Sylvia. Sound familiar?
That sounds like the woman you asked if we knew the name of earlier.
That does indeed sound like the woman that you asked if I knew the name of earlier. And no, I still don't know her. I don't think. Tanner, do we know her?
I have no clue.
Will pulls out her cell phone and starts swiping through pictures, and Shannon shows to you first an image that she took in one of the upstairs bedrooms. You now recognize that the pictures that were on Heimglimmer's dresser were of this woman. You remember there was a painting that you saw, there was a picture as well.
Right.
There was one of the two of them together. Now it's all coming together. It's very clearly the same woman.
Oh, no. That's not good. I think they were... So, oh, God forgive me, but I'm going to take the shroud off the rest of the body because I want to see, are there any... Does it look like there are any sacrificial wounds on the body?
Well, as you go to do so, the two of you and Tanner are basically leaned over the upper torso of this body, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I am.
I'm going to need you both to make me an agility check real quick, please.
Oh, Hunter, I already did it once. Don't make me do it again. Oh. Lindsey, I can't see you. Pray on this for me.
I'm not one that prays. I'm sorry.
It's not that bad. No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. A 5's not bad, probably.
I was looking more at your other roll.
Hey, it's a 2-dice system. It's a 2-party system. You have to vote for one or the other.
Well, then I'll just vote for a third party.
Go ahead. Waste your vote.
In the moment that you go to do so, the arms of the body, both of them, raise up and go for both of your throats, seemingly trying to grapple you. The eyes snap open and they are completely blacked out. It's like the pupil took over the entire eye. And you hear a very deep, guttural phrase come from the mouth as it starts to move. It sounds something like Slotrum Hedudnes Hokefa.
Oh, God, it's even worse than I thought. It's
Jabba the Hutt.
It's a European death metal singer. So, did she actually get us by the throats?
She has you. She does not have Tanner.
Damn it.
Swerve.
How strangled am I exactly?
Well, we'll get there.
Son of a bitch.
At this point, before we draw initiative, I want to bounce over to Lindsey. Lindsey, what you received this message from Shannon? Are you replying to it? Are you acting on it? What do you want to do?
I am not comfortable waking the mother up with the little girl that has been having terrors as far as that goes. He just sent me the picture, no name or anything.
You tell me, Shannon. What you said something, right?
I think he said he just sent me the picture. But...
Yeah, I sent the picture and said, "Do you recognize her?" Does the other one? This was before we found out her name, so no, I didn't put a name on it.
Okay, I'm gonna reply back. I don't know who it is, but I'm also not comfortable waking Lisa up.
My God, I'm never depending on you in a bad situation.
I don't know that you're in a bad situation, other than the fact that you sent me a picture of a dead body.
Bitch, if I'm sending you a picture of a dead body, it's probably a bad situation.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to do
that.
before we start?
I am gonna go to the sliding glass doors and see if I can see anything that's going on from the back of that yard without leaving the house yet.
Okay. From your position there, you can now see, because I think, Tanner, you turned the porch lights on your way out, right?
Yes.
So the backyard is lit, for the most part. It's lit, fam. It's at the very least enough of it is lit that you can see that there is a ladder leaned up against the fence. As far as the other home goes, that's a 7-foot privacy fence, so really the only thing you can see is the upstairs, and there does not appear to be any motion or lights or anything on.
Okay. Then I would like to still go out into the yard and maybe get up on the ladder to see if I can see over into the other yard to see if they're anywhere near coming out of the house.
Okay. Yeah, with the ladder up, at this point, let's see. Tanner, what have you make an agility check to use the ladder? I think you both did.
No,
there was a climbing skill.
It was strength.
It was climbing. There is a climbing skill.
So it's a
D4.
D4.
So I tell you what, Lindsey, you'll make a strength check, and since you're using a ladder, there's not. I think that's what we did was we negated the penalty because all you have to do is just climb.
Give me a second here. I'm
good.
getting this figured out.
No worries.
Seymour.
Oh, hush.
There's a dead body, Seymour. Help. Help.
It's just a stuffed animal, Mother.
No, Mother.
It's so sing-song. No, Mother.
No, Mother.
Okay, let's see if I did this right.
Yes, you did. 6 is plenty enough for you to. You were basically wanting to get to the top, but not necessarily.
Yeah, no, I don't necessarily want to climb over. I just want to see.
Okay. From your vantage point there, basically between the two yards at the top of the fence, the Heimglimmer home still looks dark. You would now be able to note, and I'm putting this out there though. You guys only know because you're down there. There are no basement windows. That basement room is completely concealed. The main floor and the second floor, there are no lights on. However, you can very clearly see the back window is open. The window that leads directly into the living room there is wide open. The curtains are actually fluttering around in the wind.
So I know the idiots went inside.
At the very least, you probably have a good idea that is the case.
Okay. I know it's like the side backyards. Can I see any more of the cul-de-sac area if there's any other activity on the road out that way?
Yeah, so you guys are at the two most tip of the cul-de-sac yards. They're basically right there at the main point of the curve. So you can sort of look around to the ones on the right for sure. At this point, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and so it's actually very quiet where you are because you're pretty well outside of city limits. There's only a few houses out here in this area. And again, it's a Tuesday, so at most, a few people might be stirring in a couple of hours. But for now, all is quiet. All lights are off, save for the street lights. It doesn't appear to be anything of interest.
Okay. I know Shannon won't respond to his phone, so I'm not going to try on it.
Yeah, good luck with that one right now.
Yeah, it's not happening. I'm going to go ahead and take a chance and jump down to the yard and go in with them.
Okay. All right, so we're going to kind of, for the sake of brevity, we're going to hand wave a little bit of this. You have no difficulty getting down the other side of the ladder, much less any difficulty getting in through the window because it's not that far up off the ground and it's pretty big and it's not difficult to get in and be in there. As a matter of fact, once you get into the home, you can feel an extremely cold draft, and it doesn't take you very long to figure out where it's coming from because they left the cabinet pushed aside, so that doorway is wide open there. So once you kind of make your way there, we're going to come back to you in just a second and can kind of handle what's been happening in the meantime there, okay?
Okay.
So, now, let's draw initiative. Lindsey, you will not have to draw for this round, okay?
Yeah, because I'm upstairs still.
Yes, I'm going to draw one real quick, and we'll just do it in the order. All right, Tanner. All right, and Shannon.
All right, here we go, baby. Bada boom.
It still shows yours. Oh, there it is. It was showing yours over mine. There we go. And then I'm going to say that my first one was, usually I just draw one for every thing, but I've got a hero and a villain here to play, so I'm going to also draw. The first one I'm going to say was for Ahova, and the second one will be for Sylvia. We're just going to call her that for now. So this one is going to be for her. So she's actually last in the order. Of course, she kind of got a surprise round. So, all right.
Hunter, do you think getting choked out by a zombie is worse than cockroaches?
I mean, probably in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Tanner, what do you want to do?
Is there
Help.
Is there anything in the room I can try to bash her arm with to try to break it off Shannon's neck?
Bite this bitch.
I mean, so in your immediate area, you've got some red candles around you. Again, some of them melted sort of into the floor, some not. There's a table behind you. Again, it's like a standard card table, basically, or well, it's rectangular, more of a folding rectangular table. And then there's those statues. They are all, let's say, they're about the size of an average beer bottle, pretty much.
Are they solid concrete or solid
They
stone?
appear to be stone. I mean, from what you saw, they appear to be stone. I don't know if we didn't say that you picked one up, but Ahuva was certainly holding one and turning it over. So they're liftable. They don't seem to be crazy heavy, but they appear to be stone.
God help me. I'm going to grab one of the stone statues and bash this thing in the arm that's holding Shannon.
Hit this bitch.
Okay. With the room being 30 feet in diameter, you have enough time, enough space anyway, because that means it's going to be 15 feet either direction. So you, from the center of it anyway, your pace is 25. You have enough to get there and get back within 5 feet of it, but at that point, you're not going to be adjacent to it. So you can, from there, throw it, I guess, if you want, unless you want to run. Running is also an option. Running, of course, then lowers your parry until your next turn.
Yeah, I'm going to run.
Okay. You don't have to roll for it because at least one, if you rolled at least a 1, that would be enough for you to get to where you need to. Just be aware that your parry normally is 5. Your parry is going to be 3 until your next turn, okay? Okay, so yeah, you can grab one of the statues and you can get close to it and you're wanting to try. Is this like a called shot or you just want to generally hit this thing?
That's what would try and hit it in the arm that's reached out and got him by the neck be a cold shot?
I would say yes, because a general hit is just I want to hit this thing in one way or another. If you're wanting to hit a specific place, that's a called shot.
Just hit it.
Okay, I'm just going to hit it. And
okay, then it'll be a fighting roll as per normal to hit it. You got a D6, I think, in that. Yeah.
Okay.
Help me.
Shut up! I'm trying to focus here. I focused.
Shannon, can you pray on it while you're choking?
Help me, Jesus.
Okay.
I hit it.
Well,
Did I not hit it?
Remember, melee attacks go against their parry, not generic distance attack.
Okay.
Tanner did not hit it well.
No, your 5 is actually not good enough to beat its parry. So in the moment that you come back and go to swing toward it, it reaches that other hand up and it bats yours away. Now you keep a grip on the statue, but effectively your blow is glanced away.
Great.
Yeah, great.
That's move and action. So I think that's going to wrap your turn up unless there's anything you want to do for free, talking, that sort of thing.
Oh, I can't hand the statue to Shannon?
No, not after you moved as well. Remember when Jesse and Shannon were doing that, they were not moving on those rounds.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
That's true.
Well, Shannon could take the statue from me whenever it's his turn.
Potentially. He is also being choked to death right now.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever been choked to death, Tanner.
Have you?
I heard that sometimes he hires a guard. No.
It's in Lowe's, I think, isn't it? Or Menards, I forget.
Okay, Shannon, what are you going to do, buddy? Let's do this, bud. Survive.
Yeah, you're up.
Hello?
Shannon.
Hello?
Hey, hi.
Oh, everybody cut out on me for a second.
Yeah, that was
same
weird.
here.
That was strange. That had to be a Discord thing. Shannon, you're up. What do you want to do?
I guess die. Like, do I have to roll for that, or?
So, well, the first thing that we're going to do is you are effectively grappled, so you're going to try to break that grapple because otherwise she is going to deal some damage to you.
That's something I can do.
That is going to be a strength roll on your part, and it's an opposed strength roll.
I'm
So you make
strong.
yours, you make yours, I make mine, and we see what happens. You ready?
Oh, you're going down. I'm so strong.
Good luck.
Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
Ouch.
You cheating son of a bitch.
Wow.
This is why we use roll
he
20.
got- Just so everyone out there knows what happened, he got a 22.
that 6 die aced 3 times.
All right, Shannon, you got to do this, buddy. You got to do this. Beat it. Yeah, I didn't.
No,
You know what?
unfortunately, that's not good enough.
God damn. I don't even think it's worth even trying to use a Benny on this. I would have to get so lucky to beat that 22.
That would be pretty significant. And again, you're not going to die here in the moment. It's just not well.
Probably
not.
everybody else has a 1 Benny, and I've got 2, right?
Yeah, you do have 2.
I'm going to go ahead and use it and try my luck. I know it's not going to work, but I'm going to try it.
Okay, that is totally up to you. I'll bring you down to 1, and you can re-roll.
Oh, Christ in heaven. You owe me for these cockroaches. Oh, you're a bastard.
And what really sucks is that 10 would have been good on almost anything else.
Yeah, the 10 would have been
that would have
fantastic.
been a good roll. It really would have been.
Not against 22.
No, that's pretty hefty. 8 3. Is that how that works? Yeah, I get to add 3. Okay, so what's your toughness? A 5.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you at a 5. Okay, so that's only enough to shake you anyway. Basically, what that's going to do is it's just going to soak up your turn. You are going to get a chance to break that shaking condition next turn, but you basically spent your entire turn prying those fingers apart as best you can, or at least wedging yours in between hers so that you don't die.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to die. Well, I don't want to die.
So
He kind of wants to die.
So you
Only
are
in real life.
shaken. You are shaken, and we'll try to break that at the beginning of your next turn. Okay. That's going to do that. That means we come to Ahuva.
That's good because Tanner has to use the bathroom.
Okay.
He didn't want to say it, but he texted us. So I just wanted to put that
I
out
see
there.
it now. There we go. Well, that's fine. I got a couple of rolls to do here anyway. Oh, he's going to be happy when he listens back and hears that happen.
He's just not going to know what's happening.
See, this is why I use AirPods, because even when I leave the computer, I can hear what you guys are talking about. Have I never mentioned that, by the way? Every time that I'm like, yeah, I'll be right back, you guys talk amongst yourselves, I can hear everything you're talking about. I just want you to recap it for me when I get back.
Wait, I'm sorry. I was looking. I did not see Tanner's post about the car accident. I just read it for the first time, so I'm a little shaken. What'd you say?
It's long story short, it's not relevant.
Okay.
I wear AirPods, and so I can hear everything you guys are talking about, even if I leave the computer. That's it.
Oh yeah, like when you take Parker out for the Parker time.
Yes, yeah.
And also,
I was just flexing on you with my AirPods. That's it.
I could hear you guys the entire time.
Me.
I'm gonna go there. Oh, not the ASMR version.
All right. Oh no! All right, I'm going to take Ahuva's card here, and we're going to get into her turn. So, on her turn, Tanner, if you were wondering before if she had a gun, now you know for a fact. As a matter of fact, being as relatively close as you are and being a gun person, you immediately recognize it as a 6-hour P229.
Ooh, good gun.
I don't know what that is.
She draws it from what is actually a back holster. You can actually, her jacket kind of flares up in the moment, and you can see that she's wearing like a pistol or belt, effectively. So she draws it from this back holster, and immediately takes aim and fires at this thing. So, let's see.
Please hit it.
Yes.
Yes, please.
No, mother, kill the zombie.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty good. As a matter of fact, that's a hit with a raise, so she's going to get a bonus on that damage. It is D6 plus 1, so that's 3. Can they ace? No, they can't ace. Okay. Boom. Okay. Yeah, that's good stuff. So she immediately takes aim and fires. First of all, it's loud. Shannon, I don't know if you've ever been around guns firing, but especially in a relatively small room like this, the report is just, your ears are ringing. It also doesn't hurt that she fired 2 directly center mass at this thing. It's basically lying down, but she has kind of like leaned up at kind of done the Undertaker sit up now. And she fires 2 directly center mass and does pretty good deal of damage. As a matter of fact, for game mechanic terms, I can tell you she shook it and gave it a wound. So you got that going for you.
I'm excited to be a part of this plan.
As she fires that shot and hits it, I'm going to look at her and go, now do you believe in the paranormal?
Well, the thing about that is you can't do that because it's not your turn. So. Talking is a free action on your turn.
Okay.
Not on someone else's. However, I will grant you this much. She, from what little you can see, because the lights are kind of all over the place at this point, Shannon's has probably dropped. You do get a glimpse of her eyes, and she is wide-eyed. I mean, she's very clearly rattled, but that military training kicked in, and she fired those shots instantly. With the remainder of her turn, she is going to back toward the wall, away from the thing, basically. And let's see. Oh, I can just make that. I gotta keep doing that. 8. Yeah. 6. Yeah, okay. Once again, she does not observe any semblance of let me try to avoid stepping on anything that would disturb anything here, but in her freewheeling, backpedaling movement, she still somehow manages to nimbly do so unintentionally. So that little moment of, I guess Shannon wouldn't catch his breath because he's being choked to death. But
you got to pay extra for this in other countries.
All right. And now that'll end Ahuva's turn. So she backs up against the wall there. And that leads us to Sylvia. Now, Sylvia's got Shannon by the neck. Having batted Tanner away, she's going to take her other hand while she's holding Shannon's neck with the right hand. And she's going to take her left hand and just try to rake it directly across your face.
Jesus!
So let's do this. Oh, I can roll the same thing. Well, your parry's a 5, right?
Yeah.
No, your parry... Shannon? No, your parry's a 7. Your toughness is a 5.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a 5 because you're grappled, so that's going to bring your parry down, much like Tanner's was for running. So that 7 is going to be good enough to beat that. Actually, 7 would have been enough because you would have tied it anyway. Let's see. You're currently shaken. Let's see what this does.
Not stirred.
But,
please don't kill me.
I have no control over that. Ooh, okay. Your toughness is a 5. That's a hit with a raise, and you are already shaken. So what that is going to do is that's going to cause a wound for you, which means you're going to be at a -1 to all rolls until you manage to soak that. Now, you can spend a Benny right now, one of the remaining ones that you have, to try to eliminate that. That's completely up to... the only remaining one you have. That's up to you. Otherwise, you have to try to do it on your turn, and you are currently grappled.
So if I use the Benny, it just soaks the wound. I'm still shaking and all that, right?
No, if you spend the Benny, actually you're immediately unshaken, and then you try to soak the wound. You have to roll a vigor roll to do so.
All right, I guess I'm going to do it. I don't feel like I have much of a choice here.
Okay. So you're going to make a vigor roll. You are no longer shaken, which is good news. That means you only have to try to escape that grapple on your turn and not try to escape from being rattled. Then, make a vigor roll.
I'm on it.
You do get your wild die for this, too.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It never does. Well, that's not terrible.
I was going to say, it matters enough. That's enough to soak that wound, so you don't have to worry about that for now, and you're no longer shaken, which is good news. The only bad news is you're out of bennies. But
right.
that hit could have been a lot worse. That is actually, because she's not trying to move, she's trying to keep you grappled, is all she can really do on her turn. She's not going to get to her feet. She is going to sit fully up so that she can spring to them. But beyond that, like I said, just kind of an Undertaker sit-up, and she's kind of dragging you along for the ride in the process. All right, that's going to end the first round. Briefly before the next round, Lindsey, at this point, you are making your way through the house toward the source of that cold, and you hear a loud growl some scrambling, some seemingly, guttural sort of choking sounds, and then what is clearly the report of a gunshot.
Oh, goody.
So I'm not going to tell you what you would do. You tell me what you would do in that moment.
Well, once I hear the gunshot, I'm probably going to try and look around the room to see if there's anything I can grab to help defend myself in any way.
All right. In the living room, make me a notice roll if you would, please.
Okay. Let's see here.
Dum, click, click.
Yeah, I know. My keyboard's noisy. It's your fault it's noisy.
Mm-hmm.
4 + 2 would put me at 6.
Yeah, even a 4 is good enough that glancing around the room, you notice the fireplace. This living room is really sparsely decorated, but the fireplace does have the first thing that comes to mind as a weapon, and there's an iron poker in a little stand next to it. There's ashes.
Oh yeah,
in the
I'm grabbing
pit.
that.
But yeah, there's the one iron poker, and it's exactly what you're expecting. It's like a mini halberd, basically.
Yep. Yeah, no, I'm grabbing that.
Okay, so for your purposes...
Because those aren't overly heavy either. So.
Right. For your purposes to use it, you will use your fighting roll to attack with it.
Okay.
If you hit and cause damage, you get your strength die +1.
Okay, hang on. I gotta find something to write this down on because I'm
That's
not
all right.
gonna remember.
I'll get you there. I got
Okay.
it memorized anyway.
Fair
No
enough.
worries. Yep. Okay, and then what's your plan from there?
I am going to make my way over to the door, but not walking directly in front of it from one of the sides.
Okay.
And try to look around the corner. I'm actually gonna duck down a little lower so I'm not just standing straight up when I do it.
All right, good move. Looking down into the basement, it's about a 10-step set down. As best you can tell, it actually disappears into darkness about 3 or 4 steps in. But you can see some seemingly muted light sources at the bottom, and you can hear a struggle taking place.
Okay. I am not gonna turn on my phone light just to not draw attention to myself. And go ahead and start slowly descending the steps.
Okay. Then basically, I'm going to say as round 2 of combat begins, you are making your way in. You will appear mechanically in round 3, if there is a round 3, indeed.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to recall all the cards. I'm not going to shuffle. And we're going to draw a new round of initiative. So I'm going to draw 1 for a Huva. There we go. Tanner, you're up. All right, good draw. Shannon?
I bet mine's just as good. It's not terrible.
No, it's really not. And then I'm going to draw an additional one for Sylvia. Oh, look at that. She keeps going last in the initiative. Okay, I think this is the same order as last time. Yeah, Tanner, you're up.
Okay, I'm going to take the statue and try to hit her again.
Okay, so you just make me a fighting roll then.
Let's see, which one was that? That was... Trying to remember what my fighting was again.
It is a D6.
Thank you.
Yep.
So 2d6.
De nada.
Roll 20 does not want to cooperate with me for some reason.
Oh, what's new? This is why the only thing I feel bad about this being your first tabletop experience is that it's not really we got to play.
You don't get to actually roll the die physically.
At this point, we've all been around each other so much. I feel like the next one we do with these, we got to just start doing them live.
I would like to point out while we have a moment how many people got I think actually upset with me for posting green is not a creative color today.
Not enough people watch Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. That's the problem.
Yeah, they don't know what it's from.
Yeah, there were quite a few people that were very upset about that. Tanner, you got a 9 on that fighting roll, and that is going to be good enough for a hit. Not quite good enough for a hit with a raise, but you will get your standard damage. The damage with that thing is going to be just like the poker. It's going to be your strength die plus 1.
Okay.
And that's just a plus 1, not plus 1 die type. So you can either do... Yeah, you can either do whatever your strength die is and then put plus 1 in, or you can just do the die and then just add 1 to it.
Does that,
I put it in roll 20 just to keep up with it.
Does that one explode?
It does not. Damage does not explode. No. So for you, it's going to be a D4 plus 1.
4.
4 damage. Okay. You definitely connect. But you also, after watching this thing get shot, you think, okay, you build your courage up a little bit. You take a swing, and you certainly collide right with it, right with the head. But it's that sort of stereotypical zombie thing. And again, this is a, you don't know it's a zombie, but it's definitely a reanimated body. That didn't have any marks or anything on it. The head swivels around as you connect with the cheek, and almost as quickly it snaps back at you. And her mouth drops almost unnaturally low, and this deep sort of guttural moan comes out. It's that thing where you don't get the idea that you did any damage so much as you just got her attention.
Oh, boy.
Okay?
Okay. Oh, who was...
Anything else?
Who would go for the head?
So
you did only attack. You still can move or try something else if you like.
I am going to take... can I take 2 steps back?
You can take your like a 5-foot step back, basically, if you're wanting to get out without getting attacked in the process. Otherwise, you're pretty much turning your back.
Yeah, let's take this the 5-foot step back.
Okay, yeah, it's not a term in Savage Worlds, but in D&D it would be called. Oh God, now I forgot what it's called in D&D. There's a term for that, but basically you're putting distance between the two of you. So shifting, that's what it is. You're shifting out of the way, pretty much.
Okay.
Yep.
Been very shifty.
Very shifty, but also very sleazy. Okay. All right. That then is going to be the end of Tanner's turn, which means Ahuva is going to have her round to go. She's pretty clearly distraught, but because none of this makes any sense, and now she's concerned that she's firing at a citizen. So actually, before she fires, she calls out. And it starts out in Israeli, and then she realizes she's speaking it, so she starts to speak English and says something to the effect of, "Ma'am, release him and place your hands behind your back." And it's very erratic. Her voice is shaky. It's up-pitched. She's very concerned, obviously.
First time?
That does not get the attention of Sylvia, and so she says, "Ma'am, if you don't release him, I'm going to have to shoot." Of course, she's already shot. But this is not quite running through her head at this moment. And within a second, she starts to panic, and she fires her pistol again. Let's see if she hits. Nope, that's not what I need. Yep, that is good enough to hit. The 5 is going to be. And so... She's already taken, so that's going to add a wound. Yeah, she fires another shot directly against center mass, and this one, the two of you, now that you're kind of getting a lay of the land and getting used to what's going on, and again, it's a loud report, your ears are ringing, but it goes directly through the chest, and now Tanner, while looking directly at you, that guttural moan just seems to get louder, and it's clearly pained this time. She is once again wounded.
Okay, we're doing...
Ahuva, for her part, though, is as much as it seems like you're doing well, you're winning, is frightened out of her mind, and so trying to keep her wits about her, she starts backing up the steps, and in the process of doing so, she turns around, Lindsey, and sees you coming down the steps toward her. She wheels her gun toward you, but she does not fire, and she yells out, "Who is that?"
I'm gonna hold my hands up and say, "I'm friendly. Don't shoot me."
Okay. We'll come back to that in just a bit. That's going to end her turn, which means, Shannon, it's going to be you. You are currently not shaken or wounded, which means you're in pretty good shape, all things considered. You want to try to break this grapple?
Just want to point out, read the minutes to you. At 10:39, I texted Maria and said I'm getting choked by a corpse. At 10:52, I texted her and said I'm still being choked by a corpse. In 10 minutes, when I'm still being choked by a corpse, I'm going to update her again.
Is she responding? She shouldn't be because she's driving.
No, she's home now. She said to fight it off, and I'm thinking, like, why didn't I think of that?
Of course.
It's so simple.
Shannon, have you ever seen a man throw his shoes? Or say goodbye to his shoes?
Once. Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna turn it to a struggle bug. I'm gonna try to break free of this witch's curse.
All right, make that strength check for me, then, please.
That is something I can do. Let's do it.
Something you can do.
And I'm real strong too.
So
watch
strong.
me get it. So here comes the one. Here comes the two snake eyes. You ready? Well, close. Jesus.
So here's the advantage that you've got. Because she is wounded, she's at a -2 on everything, which means you only needed to break a certain number, and it just so happens that a 3 is going to be good enough for that because she's down by 2. So you do finally manage to pry her cold. And I should have mentioned, by the way, the whole time this is going on, even though the pressure is immense, like, you can't help but notice, her fingernails are claw-like. Like, it's almost like, not they've been filed or anything, but that they are, like, jagged and kind of ragged and pointed. And also, her hand is extremely cold. Like, a human body that's moving should not be this cold. But you finally managed to basically just get a hold of the wrist with one hand, and you punch the arm until she's forced to release in the process. You are free of that grapple. What would you like to do?
Well, can I do any? I can't make a move, or I can't do an action, can I? Was that my action?
I'm going to treat that basically as your action because you fought her off. You didn't cause any further wounds, but you did manage to free yourself. You can move, you can talk, you can do any of those things as you gasp for breath.
Can I step back out of her reach without like an attack of opportunity or anything?
Yeah, you can, again, like Tanner did, effectively shift back out of her way.
Okay, I want to do that. I want to shift out of her way and just yell out, "Shoot it again!"
Okay, you can do that. That is something you can do. So that's gonna.
I love that that's become our new go-to catchphrase.
Something you can do.
Something I can do.
All right, that then will bring us to the end of the initiative with Sylvia, who is quite damaged, quite rattled, and has now lost her only victim. I mean, whoop.
No, I'm a victim. It's fine.
No, I said what I meant. Let me pull her stuff up here real quick. So, because she's currently shaken, I got to see if she can actually break out of that. That would be the first thing. And for whatever reason, of all the stats I didn't write down, that's one of them. So now I have to pull it back
I'd just
up.
like you to know that this entire time the cat has been pawing me in the side because I'm not paying attention to her.
Well, that's something she can do.
Damn cat, yeah.
something she can do. All right, so
She's all like, "You've been gone all day. Pay attention to me."
Is this the same thing? No, I gotta do this.
Lindsey, I decided to roll a blood elf rogue instead.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna save the undead for when they change the models, and I'm gonna be a warrior.
Okay. You're gonna just wait till then for it.
Yeah, but I'm still doing the rogue though, so we can play with Jesse.
How far into your starting area are you?
I'm level 64.
How?
I'm lying. I'm level 4.
Okay.
64, but minus 60.
For that long.
64 minus 60. Yeah, it's Warcraft. It's Warcraft logic.
Warcraft math. So
I'll make one later.
As soon as Sylvia kind of gets her, for lack of a better term, wits about her. Again, she's now got like skin hanging off the bone on her cheek where Tanner hit her. She's got bullet wounds directly to the chest, but she sort of almost animal-like springs up, and her feet land kind of behind her, like she's ready to pounce. she screams out at all three of you in this very loud, kind of under her breath or in the back of her throat, kind of growl. And looking from side to side, she goes to sprint and spring into action, and it's Ahuva who is across the room, but someone that she makes her move toward in the moment. So she springs toward the basement steps and out of the circle in the process, the pentagram. She is going to attempt to claw Ahuva, basically just jump onto her and try to pin her down on the steps.
Oh no.
So the good news is that she does not beat Ahuva's parry in the process, and so in doing so, she slams into the wall. Ahuva kind of side kicks her to the side, and she slams into the basement wall in trying to do so. And that's the only thing she's going to have time to do this round. Ahuva's now seemingly fighting a battle on two ends because she still has not confirmed that Lindsey is indeed a friendly, though she says that she is. So as this particular round begins, I'm going to have every body draw initiative now. So,
Woohoo.
I'm going to draw one real quick for Ahuva. There's hers. Tanner, you're up. Okay. Shannon?
Well, hey, Tanner.
Hey, bud.
Lindsey? All you have to do is just pull it straight out from the
You're up.
deck.
Oh. Okay.
Damn it, I forget about that. I always do it, and it takes longer.
No, it's all right. Yeah, there it is. All right, I'm going to move it around just so I can keep track of it. And then I'm going to pull one for Sylvia as well. Boy, she is just drawing terribly today. All right.
She's a zombie.
That's it. It is what it is. Yeah, so that's going to put Ahuva at the top of the list then. All right, so again, she's feeling like she's kind of fighting a battle on two fronts here. But for the time, she can't be worried about Lindsey because, of course, this thing just came straight at her. So from her place about 2 or 3 steps up, as she wheels around and kicks her into the wall, she's going to fire another couple of shots in her direction. It's now clearly no concern to her if this person is civilian. Something is very clearly wrong, and she's attacking with intent to kill. So... yeah, 7 will be good enough for a hit. Damage. And the damage is good enough that she is able to shake and cause that further wound back. So seemingly everything that Sylvia shook off previously is now affecting her once again. For our purposes, she can only fire one shot, but it's much cooler if she fires a couple. So I'm just going to say she pops another through, and now she's aiming for the head. As a matter of fact, nobody's really close enough because the light is kind of all over the place to see this specifically, but with what little light is coming down from upstairs, Ahuva herself can see that this particular shot actually wings straight through an ear and almost takes it completely off. Her left ear is like dangling by a thread, pretty much.
You.
It's pretty gross. Unable to move, she is going to, over her shoulder, say to Lindsey, or seemingly to Lindsey anyway, because she's kind of screaming it at this point, "You'd better not hit me in the back, I swear to God."
It wouldn't be on purpose.
It wouldn't be the first time.
All right, and that's going to end her turn, which means we're going to move to Lindsey, as a matter of fact. You're next in the lineup here. I'm going to draw that Jack back. Lindsey, what do you want to do?
So is it light enough that I can tell that Shannon and Tanner are down there too?
You can,
other than just them yelling.
You've definitely heard sounds that are very clearly them. Seeing them, not really, because it seems almost unnaturally dark down there.
Okay.
You can see a couple of light beams pointing off in nondescript directions. It's very clearly some sort of light source, a flashlight, a phone, whatever, that someone has dropped or set aside and is not actively aiming.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to hit you from behind. I am with them. I've been next door dealing with the family. I came over here to see what's going on. And I'm assuming with...
I should mention, she's doing the kind of police style. She's got the flashlight in her left hand and got her right hand rested on her wrist. So you can very clearly see what she's pointing at. Now you've gotten a very clear look at, for lack of a better term, a real-life zombie, as best you can tell.
Hey.
Yuck. And obviously I see that Shannon was correct that you have bigger problems over here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just stay put because if Huva is still standing on the steps in front of me, I have no intention of pushing her out of the way.
Yeah, getting around her would not be easy in the moment, much less it would put you directly in the line of her firing, so you can tell. And again, now that you've been very close, when that gun goes off, it is loud. Mm-hmm. So you're wanting to hold where you are.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hold because I have a blunt weapon. It's not gonna do any good, and I'm not about to chuck it at the zombie.
Sounds good, which means then we're going to move to Tanner and Shannon both drew 9s. We move in reverse alphabetical order, which means that Tanner, you got the diamonds. You are going first. What's up?
Okay, so who didn't use her free movement, did she?
What's that?
Who didn't use her movement, did she? She just stood right where she was at and shot, right?
Yes.
So if I asked her, considering I'm right beside the quote-unquote zombie, if I asked her to toss me her gun, would she be able to do that?
Well, you're no longer beside it. You're still over in the pentagram in the center of the room. Sylvia leapt up and made her way toward the steps. She's at the base of the steps now.
Okay.
You really think she's going to throw you her gun? Like,
yeah,
it's
also for the record,
like,
that's something
you,
she
man.
would have had to have done on her turn.
Her turn, okay.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm with you, but if I didn't know you and we encountered a real-life zombie and you're like, hey, give me your gun, I would probably say no.
I'm just saying, like, it'd be awesome because I have such a great shooting talent that was getting wasted in this game.
You should have brought the rifle.
I should have. You know, it's probably still in the car.
My rapier is. I could have cut this zombie's head off.
Your rapier is in the car.
Yeah.
I don't go anywhere without the rapier, Tanner.
Not anymore. Not after all this.
No, after the mutant chickens, I was done.
Okay, so is the...
I'm never coming back to Perryville again. For the record.
Well, we'll see about that. You're coming back in part 3, the search for more money.
Okay, so is she going towards, like, Lindsey, or is she just trying to make her a quick escape?
She's making her way downtown.
If you're talking about Sylvia, she is at the base of the steps.
She's against the wall.
Yeah, she's against the wall at the base of the steps, and seemingly headed up toward Ahuva. Ahuva and Lindsey are both on the steps heading down, with Ahuva on like the 3rd step up from the basement floor, and Lindsey only a few steps, probably 3 steps down from the top. And the two of you are still inside the pentagram on the floor.
Do I have enough?
I'm pretty sure Zombie Lady got like kicked in the face and then shot.
Yes.
Do I have enough pace to catch up from behind? You know, catch up to her, grab her from behind, and try to throw her to the ground.
Oh yeah, you can try. Yeah, because it's a diameter 30, which means from the center you've got 15 feet. Your pace is 25. So to get to the wall, it would only take 3 of your 5 effectively squares of movement.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna do. I'm gonna make my move up to Sylvia to try to grab her from behind and slam her to the ground.
All right, so then you're gonna make me a fighting roll. With that being a grapple, it is going to be an opposed roll, but she's not doing too hot right now, so you may be in good shape there.
Okay, so fighting is D4. I can't see this thing. Where are my glasses?
Your fighting's a D6.
Thank you.
Make me a glasses check.
Literally.
-2 to vision.
Check to see where your glasses are.
Look, just use your eyes.
Now that's using your eyes.
Is that good enough to do anything, or do I need to use my Benny?
Well, I'll tell you this. You're about to find out, because since you're attempting a grapple, she gets an opposed roll of that, just like you guys did.
Okay, do I get to re-roll if it's not good?
I mean, you can use a Benny if you want to.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you can. You'll be able to do that. Boom.
That's something hopefully you won't need to do.
That's something hopefully you could do. I will tell you that roll is going to beat your roll. It's a 5 over 4. So she's going to
not
counter
Benny.
your grapple. Oh, well,
Tanner's over there. Benny.
Ouch.
Well, here's the good news. You still get to take the higher
Benny
roll,
ain't your friend.
Yeah.
but the Benny didn't do you any good.
And now you ain't got no more bunnies.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Just be thankful you get to keep the high roll, because you about just got turned into a zombie.
That's fine.
So basically
We
what
just
it,
rolled double snake eyes, everybody.
yeah, basically what it boils down. Double snake eyes. That'd be 4 of them.
Yeah,
two
I can't
ones.
count. I know what I'm doing.
What happens mechanically, or what happens not mechanically, you saw what happened mechanically. What happens in the game is that you make your way over and try to get a hold of her, but again, the light, first of all, as soon as you get there, Ahuva's flashlight is like right in your eyes because she's got it aimed right at her. And Sylvia is now just flailing wildly, so trying to get a hold of her is almost impossible. She kind of bats you away. You're not damaged or anything, but you're not. It's like trying to grab hold of a hurricane. It just is not happening for the moment.
Great.
So you're there, but you can't get a hold of her to attack her.
Okay.
All right.
It's like trying to stir diarrhea with your dog's sense of humor.
Ew. Why would you do that?
What does that mean? It means nothing. Shannon, take your turn, please.
All right. I'm tired of zombie, so I'm gonna run at her and I'm just gonna drop kick this freak right in her chest.
All right. That is. Are you gonna actually run, or are you just gonna make your move?
I feel like if I run, it's gonna be more of an impact.
It won't. I can tell you right now, mechanically, it does nothing.
Then I'm gonna walk over there and drop kick her.
We can flavor it as you ran, but we're not going to use the mechanics of running because all that does is add to your distance. And then
Actually,
reduce
you
your
know what?
parry.
Instead of drop kicking, I'm gonna big boot her right in the head. No,
Okay.
that's a called shot. Is that a called shot?
I mean, it is, but I tell you what, why don't you just make the attack and then we'll see what happens.
All right, I'm going for the boot. Is what I'm doing.
Okay.
What is that?
Fighting.
Just gonna be fighting?
Yeah, it's going
All
to be
right.
fighting. It's a melee attack.
Well, let's see if old Shannon does any better than the last time he did fighting. Watch, she's probably gonna grab my foot in mid kick and bite it. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Now I'm gonna kick her in the face.
Well, yeah, that definitely beats a parry and adds a raise to it too. So what you're doing is basically an unarmed attack. What's your strength? It's a D8. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, your damage is going to be, you're going to do a D8 and a D6. Now they don't explode is the only thing, so don't add the exclamation points. But you got to hit
Right.
with a raise. So a D8 and a D6.
Tanner, you know what to do.
I'm gonna pray on this.
That's not bad.
No, that's actually very good. So this is why I wanted you to do it. You tell me what happens.
Well, okay, in my head, if this is as final as I think it is, it's a big boot to the face and the head pops off.
So
Ew.
I'm going to add to it because she's so close to the wall and she's trying to fight Tanner off. You come running up with that kick, and actually you pretty quickly feel your foot connect with the wall because you absolutely brutalize her head between your foot and the wall.
Fucking
Yeah.
fatality is what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean it's like dropping a watermelon from the second story onto the sidewalk. Like
That
that's
sounds delicious.
that's the sound that we're talking about
Ew.
here.
Now, see
is-
that
I
I like.
try to not lose my lunch.
Now
Thank you.
this is role playing.
Which, to be fair, is surprising because she didn't exactly look decomposed. I mean, again, this is a body that was in pretty good shape, all things considered.
Well, I got these new shoes. They're really nice.
Now,
Did you ruin your new shoes?
Aw.
real quick before we get too much farther, Shannon, I also am going to need you to make me an agility check, please.
All right, so I can do that.
I'm not cleaning brains off your shoes
Because
for
you did go running out of that pentagram.
Oh, hell. I hate pentagrams. Come on, baby.
Go.
Yeah,
That's
you're,
Got a
That's
nine.
pretty good.
you're
That's pretty good.
You kind of hop, skip, and jump through there as best you can. And yeah, as soon as you connect, it's like a Hoover put a spotlight on it. Like she has her flashlight aimed directly at it, and all Lindsey sees over her shoulder is a freight train coming through that just smacks.
And then
back.
you hear the satisfying squish.
Yep,
Ugh.
it's a crunch and a squish for sure. There's no coming back from that.
Hungry.
There is no coming back from that. Okay, what do you want to do? Anybody?
Well, after I big booted it and squished it against the wall, I'm going to look at everybody and say, that's how you kill a zombie.
Let's
And I'm gonna refrain from throwing up.
let's GTFO. I can't deal.
Ahuva is still very much aimed, got her pistol aimed in that direction. As a matter of fact, Shannon, she's basically aiming it right at you now. Not intentionally. Not intentionally.
Yeah.
It's just she's still just aimed that way. And she is, the look on her face is very much one of, but that can't be right. Right? I'm going to wake up at any second, and none of this is going to be real.
Okay. And now I'm going to look at her and say, now do you believe in the paranormal?
And I'm going to look at her and say, this is a very traumatic experience. I've been through this. Believe me. Give me your number when this is over.
God
and if
Shit.
I'll give you my number. And if you need to talk
This
about
is
it
turning-
anytime.
This is going to turn into
Before
Pokemon.
either of you can even fully finish all this, she turns to Lindsey, actually, and says, he just murdered her.
No.
That was what just happened.
Lindsey, correct her.
It's a zombie, and you go for the head. That's all there is to it.
Hey, Lindsey, if you would really quick, make me a notice check, please.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling good about this now.
Here's the part where the gelatinous cube comes out.
Comes back together. Yeah.
I know this game. This has happened before.
Notice.
Oh, the gelatinous cube. Man, that's been a while. I did use a gelatinous cube on you guys once, didn't I?
You did. Where's
Probably.
Mike Branham? I need him here.
Where's Mike Brandon when you need him? Probably at home with that cute kid of his.
So an 8 plus a 2 is a 10.
All right, that's decidedly good enough that even among all of the chaos and you realizing this woman has a gun and is very concerned right now, you catch out of the corner of your eye from the top of the steps, seemingly from a window somewhere, you can see the flashing of red and blue lights. And you can definitely hear somebody trying to get in the front door of this house.
We have company, and there's definitely, I'm assuming probably police, not ambulance. I see red and blue lights, guys.
Ambulance uses red and blue lights.
I mean, they're mostly red.
Okay, well, let's get the hell out of here.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'll just wipe the brain off on the carpet on the way out.
Yeah, sure. They won't notice. Let's go. And I'm gonna head back up the steps.
I'm going to walk over to Ahuva as we leave and kind of calm her down and say, we need to get out of here.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
as Lindsey heads up. I mean, basically the train on the steps from bottom to top is Tanner, Shannon, Ahuva, Lindsey in the order that you guys are kind of standing. She actually does take a little coaxing to, like, you almost practically have to bump into her before she's like, oh, this is still reality. I should turn around and walk. And she's at a very slow march of still just processing what had just happened. I assume Lindsey is moving quicker, and you guys are both trying. The rest of you are also trying to move pretty quickly. Lindsey, as you get to the top of the steps, where do you want to make your way to once you get back into the house proper?
I want to head back the way I came in because I know there's an open window to get back out of.
Okay, what about you guys? Once you get up into the main house, is that your plan as well?
Yeah, I think we're all going to go through that window.
Okay, so you reappear pretty much in the dining room, which means you got to get to the living room to get there. At the moment that Tanner makes his way up to the top of the steps in the dining room, you hear the front door crack wide open from the living room adjacent to you.
Oh, hell.
And you can definitely hear someone say something. It's almost muffled because it's a little ways away, but you hear something, Perryville police. If you're in there, come out with your hands up. You can also see flashlights along the walls now and hear somebody rattling the light switches.
Oh, God.
How far away is the group from the window so we can escape?
Well, you guys don't have a map of the first floor, do you?
No.
No, we don't.
So, effectively, I guess I can pretty well send this to you now, because now you know where the secret room is anyway. I'll send it to you so you can kind of get a look at what room is what here. Let's drop it in the Discord here. First floor. There you go. So it's in the Discord. That way you can take a look at it. The living room is labeled number 2. It's right there leading out to the back. You can see the window where you would have made your entrance. You guys are in the dining room labeled 5, so that's going to be close to the front. And then the front door is right there. So if you're looking at room number 5, the dining room, there's several windows, and then there is a doorway, if you're looking at it the way it is top down, to your right, a big open archway that leads out toward the front door, which is in the far bottom right corner of that, where it says area of first floor overlooked by second floor balcony. The cabinet is where you guys came out, so you're pretty exposed right now from where they are. That cabinet is where the set of stairs were behind. If you are wanting to go to the back window to leave through, you're going to have to either go around through the kitchen or somehow get through the front part of the living room and make your way to the back part of the house, which is the top of the map, effectively.
Okay, which window do we come in?
Where you came in would be, see the armchair in the living room? That's kind of in the middle of the room.
Yes.
It's the set of double windows directly at the top of the map above it.
Okay.
Is the big empty space on the far left, is that a garage?
Yeah, room number 1 is indeed the garage. There's a key at the bottom of the map if you look.
Yeah, my eyesight's just as bad as Tanner's.
Oh, I don't blame you. I'm also squinting just to see those numbers. I think you can... No, you can't pinch them, make them bigger. Well, that's annoying.
I can't make out the numbers. I can read the key, but yeah.
But yeah, that is what that is.
Okay, if we go to the kitchen, there's a window there. Can we try to open that window and get out of that window?
Yeah, you can certainly try.
I hate when he does that.
I do too.
I mean, that's what I was thinking rather than going directly in front of them. But...
Okay,
or it looks like there's also a window at the back of the dining room.
It's completely up to you what you guys want to do. I will say at this point, for all the Ghostbusters fans, Ahuva has gone bye-bye. So she has kind of checked out. She sort of just seems to be following your lead. However, she's got a death grip on her gun, and her flashlight is still on.
Oh, God.
Well, that's good.
That's a... Hey, look here. Okay.
Hey, don't get in front of her.
Hey, let's let's all go to the laundry room.
Head towards the laundry room.
Yeah, because at least we'll be hidden in another room, and if we hear him getting too close, we can get into the garage.
I mean, it looks like there's also another window at the laundry room.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can try to go through that window.
I mean, I'm semi-game, but that's also cornering us even more.
It's totally up to you guys, but at this point, the cops are starting to make their way, at the very least from what you can hear, into the house. You count at least a couple sets of footsteps, and they're moving pretty quickly, so you're going to want to make a decision fast.
Okay, laundry room.
Let's go. Let's just...
All right, fine. Yes, let's go to the laundry room.
Let's go.
I'm gonna grab her by the shoulders carefully and say we need to get going and kind of usher her on.
All right, so the goal is to effectively make your way through the dining room through the kitchen into the laundry room and then try to leave through the laundry room window?
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. What I'm going to need from everybody at this point is going to be a stealth check. Stealth is under your agility skills.
Oh, fuck me.
Just to quickly help everybody, Lindsay's got a D6.
D6, yeah.
Tanner, you don't have any points in that, so it'll be a D4 minus 2. Shannon, you also have no points. It'll be a D4 minus 2.
This was a great idea.
Yep.
Lindsay, you just rolled, right? No, you haven't rolled yet. That's an old one.
I just now did a roll. I don't know if it popped up.
You didn't
do it right.
You put the backslash.
Oh my god!
I did it wrong. Okay.
Wait, what?
Ouch, Tanner.
Tanner, you do still get your wild die too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's mine.
Do a D6 while you're at it. Okay.
I'm just gonna do mine, and we'll take 2 off of it.
Lindsay's got a 9.
Oh, God bless and hell, son of a bitch.
Oh God.
That's a Hoova's for the record.
Well,
I'm glad the girl that's lost her mind is stealthier than me.
She's just naturally stealthy.
I started to say she's a private eye, so there's some part of her that understands
it's
that
training.
Yeah, there's something, and yeah, she's former military and maybe still military. She didn't actually confirm that. All right, Lindsay's got a 9 as her highest roll. Ahuva's got a 10. Tanner has a 5. Well, 5 minus 2, which is 3. The minus goes on whatever one you take. So that's a 3. And then Shannon... yeah, you got a 1. So basically the way this works is that
It doesn't work. That's the problem.
The cops get an opposed notice roll is what it comes down to. The good news is they're not paying attention very well. The bad news is, though, Tanner and Shannon both are making some kind of noise. You guys didn't spend a whole lot of time in the kitchen, really, in the process of moving through there. And as you make your way in, you don't realize it's quite as narrow as you thought. So along the way, the stove door is like wide open, and somebody, and I'll let you pick which one of you, somebody's knee slams right into that thing and makes a loud noise.
Tanner.
We'll call it me.
Okay.
He's the biggest one.
Anybody looking behind you would note that flashlights immediately search that area of the dining room, and it sounds like whoever is moving is making their way into the dining room right now. Pace-wise, you guys have gone 1, 2... You're going to be able to get to, if you want to the window square in the kitchen. It'd be as far as anybody can get before anyone's going to have a chance to try to catch up.
Okay.
You said the window square in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay. So somebody want to try to open that window?
Yeah, I'll try.
It'll be a strength.
Even though I'm not the strongest of us at all.
I was gonna say it'll be a strength check to do so.
I'll do it.
Yeah, let's Shannon do it. Yeah.
I already made enough noise. I might as well just completely screw this up for us. Just make sure they use all of my body when I'm dead. All right, let's do this.
Don't waste any of it.
Don't waste a single inch of me.
Use all the parts.
There we go. That's better.
Yeah. So at this point, since stealth seems to be out the window, you have really no difficulty in slamming the window completely open. I mean, it's as wide open as the ones were in the living room before. If you want to start trying to make your way out.
Yes.
Okay. So that's
Shannon. You're at the window first. So.
Yep, and that's
this just feels like a bad idea.
That's going to require a climbing check.
Oh. What's my climbing again? I think it's nothing. Is it a 1d8 or is it a 1d8
no?
minus 2?
It's a climbing, so it's a d4 minus
D4.
2, but you get your wild die too.
Oh my god!
You don't have to put the minus 2 in. We can just add that afterward.
Right.
Yeah, nobody took climbing for the record, so.
Yeah, no.
Well, no one thought they were going to use climbing. Let's be fair.
I mean, I stink at climbing. That's why I didn't give myself anything.
So
that's
two.
good because I roll well.
So here's the thing: we don't have to make any additional checks from there because Shannon's first one in line.
Okay.
And so basically, his inability, he gets the window open, no problem, but trying to get out quickly and relatively quietly is not happening, and his inability to do so blocks the progress of anybody else trying to get out the window. So at this point, what's kind of like the marching order? Shannon's at the window. Who's behind him?
I'd say probably me, because I probably got in there first since I was out of the cabinet before everybody else.
All right, and if Tanner's the one who hit the stove, I'm going to say he's probably last in line.
Yeah.
Putting a hoova between. So basically, it's Shannon, then the girls, and then Tanner. So, in the process of this, because it takes a little longer than you were hoping, the lights make their way around the corner pretty quickly. Fortunately, they're not coming from the living room. You see 2 sets of flashlights coming from the dining room area, and the beams immediately... Tanner, you're the first one to see them because you're in the back of the line, immediately focusing on you. You hear someone again say, "This is Perryville Police, put your hands up." And now you can see that there's an armed officer, somebody who's got what looks like a Colt 45 from your distance. He's, at this point, how far away? You guys are there. He's, probably 20 feet away because he's still technically in the dining room. There is somebody else with him. And what's interesting is this guy doesn't look like a cop at all. He's actually got like a lab coat on. He's got glasses. And he has a flashlight, but in his other hand, he's got a baseball bat. The cop, for the record, too, is not a uniformed, like, beat cop. He's not somebody who would be rolling around in a squad car. He's got kind of a detective look to him. He's got the suit, got the tie, a little bit grizzled around the beard, and he's a little bit wild-eyed, too. And it's very clear now that he's the one who's shouting the orders.
I'm going to put my hands up.
Good call.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Yes, what about us indeed?
Basically, I'm asking, what is your response to that command?
Hands up.
Yeah, same. I'm gonna set down the iron poker I still have first.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to kick some of the brains off my shoe.
I'm just going to point out, like, out of character, unless there's somebody else in the house, looking at the map, it looks like somebody, Lindsey or somebody could make it run to the open window.
Yeah, not when the cops have guns at this point.
Well, once
Or
again,
what we think
there is
are
a
cops.
cop. There is one cop who has a gun. The guy in the lab coat has a baseball bat and a flashlight. He's kind of got it, like, choked up in one hand, pretty much. As you guys all put your hands up and turn to notice the cops, Ahuva actually steps out, Tanner, from behind you and starts walking toward them. And she's still got a hand on her pistol and her flashlight.
Oh, no.
And she does not put her hands up. And she aims it up toward the guy in the suit. And it's almost like she just kind of snaps back to life in a moment. And she says, "Klaus, you son of a bitch." And he sort of moves his flashlight a bit, but he never moves his gun away from her. He's also not doing standard issue cop style. He's got his flashlight in one hand, a gun out straight in the other. And when he gets a good look at her and kind of hears a little bit of her accent, you hear him start to chuckle to himself, and he goes, "Shapiro, you gotta be kidding me. You really tried something here, huh?" Now the banter between the two of them starts back and forth, and she says, "You knew exactly what you were doing when you blocked me from entering this place." And he says, "And you knew exactly what you were doing when you broke and entered. And look, you brought the party. Bonnert, isn't that great that she brought the party?" And he looks very concerned, and he says, whoever this Bonnert is, looks over and says, "You don't think they..." And he says, "I certainly hope they didn't. You should probably go check."
Oh,
So,
Bonnert, I would probably not go check.
"Who are you again?" Klaus asks.
I am the creator of Podzilla 1985.
Oh,
The what?
God damn it.
It's a long story of... But if you guys are going to go check on the woman downstairs, you know what? I'll just let you see. I'm going to be quiet. I'll be back here.
Bonnert has gone pretty wild-eyed at this point and says, "What did you do?" And actually, he turns away from there, and he starts stalking toward you, almost like he's going to go directly past Ahuva. Before he can, though, she turns and wheels her gun on him, and Klaus immediately raises his back at her and says, "I wouldn't do that."
While they're in their little showdown, can I slowly inch to the corner of the hallway?
Like, toward the living room?
Yes.
Yeah, make a stealth check.
Okay.
but someone's stealthy.
Lindsey getting out of here alive, one way or another.
Yeah. You said stealth, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh!
She's getting out of here.
Let me make it quick, and I'm going to make it at a penalty.
I mostly just want a wall between me if firing starts.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to say you are able to get... because you... Basically, what you rolled as a 10 over 4 is a success with a raise, which means I'm going to let you get your full pace.
Okay.
Let me pull that map up again just so I can get a good look. So your full pace from where you are... Yeah, you can get all the way to that window in the living room without being noticed.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to try to climb out?
I want to at least get over there.
Okay.
And try and get Seanan and Tanner's attention without drawing attention to myself, to kind of be like, hey, they're busy. Come back this way.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you do that. Just for the record, and this is not to, I don't want to DM play your character at all. I just want to point out that your character would feel this. When you get to that area, you're very clearly in an exposed area. Like, there's nothing to get behind. So if you're by the window there, you could dive behind the recliner in front of you, you could dive back into the hallway, whatever, but you in the moment are very much out there.
Well, how far away am I from the good doctor?
At this point, Huva is going to be in the square directly in front of where the kitchen shows the 6 there. So you would be 2 behind her, which means the doctor is right in front of her, still in the dining room. You are effectively about 15 feet away.
All right.
No, I'm sorry. You were right in front of the window with Lindsey, weren't you? So you'd be 20 feet. You're that far square right by the wall because you were almost out. So yeah, you'd be 20 feet away.
You know how I always do something stupid? It was nice.
I know of it.
It was nice knowing you guys. Here's what I want to do.
Wait, I have such a good idea, though.
No, I got this. Don't worry. I got this. I want to use my persuasion, which I'm very fluent in. I'm going to put my hands up and explain to the cop and this doctor that we were over at the house next door because this nice family called us about a ghost problem. We heard a noise over here and came over, and I have no idea who this woman is, but she murdered someone down in the basement, and now she took us hostage. And as I'm doing that, I want to walk slowly towards the doctor to make my way toward him. Hands up, very peaceful, very convincing that we have no idea what's going on, and this crazy woman with the gun is the one doing all this, and we are innocent in all this.
Okay, so you're just trying to keep him busy, is what you're telling me.
I'm trying to keep them distracted so I can get close enough to the doctor.
All right, yeah, roll your persuasion then.
Oh, sweet Jesus, let this be the one.
I'm gonna pray on it.
Now, for the folks at home, let me explain something to you. I have an 8 in persuasion, and I have a 6 as the extra die. Theoretically, it doesn't make sense. Let me rephrase that. I should do well on here. Let's find out what happens. Hey, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
That's a 15. That's a solid 15.
I like that your other die is a 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here's the deal. Huva and Klaus are pretty well wrapped up in each other. It's a standoff. They're the only 2 with guns, and they are trained directly on each other. Bonner, as soon as you start talking to him, it's like tunnel vision, because the second you mention anything about anything downstairs, you have his attention the entire time. So yeah, you're fully able to get up to him as you are talking, whatever it is you're talking about. That'll get you 5, 10, 15, 20. That'll get you to the first square inside the dining room, which is the one you would occupy with him.
Okay, so as I'm doing this, and oh my god, here we go. When I get close enough, like in grabbing reach, as I'm still talking and convincing him, I want to, because how big is this guy?
I mean, how tall are you? 6'2"?
6'2".
That's what I was thinking. He's pretty close to you. If maybe an inch either direction, you can't really get a good bead on the guy from a distance anyway, and it's still kind of dark in there. As far as like big in general, he looks like he works out. He's tall, but he's not built.
So I'm bigger than him, I'm assuming. Clearly.
At the very least, you feel it right now.
Okay. I want to, while Klaus and her are guns aimed at each other and he's distracted by my beautiful words, I want to just basically grab him by the throat and put him in a chokehold and point him toward Klaus.
Okay. So you're thinking like sleeper hold. You're going to slip behind him.
Yeah, I'm going to just, like, as I'm talking to him, I'm just going to just slip behind him, grab him in a chokehold, and kind of take him out of the equation, and, like I said, turn him toward Klaus, so that way, I have a bullet shield just in case.
Okay, make a fighting roll. It's going to be opposed because you're trying to grapple him, but make a fighting roll.
All right, so that's a 8. Well, at least it's an 8, right?
You should be able to just re-roll.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No, that's all right.
God damn it.
Of
course.
You got a 5 is basically what he's got to try to beat.
Oh,
You're better at talking than fighting.
damn it.
So you get close enough to basically keep him busy the whole way along. As soon as you reach and try to grapple him, though, with that bat, he just kind of swings wildly and is able to break your grapple. He doesn't hit you, and you don't really hit him. Nobody comes out wounded in the process, but it's just a tussle. It's not nearly as clean as you were hoping for, much less do you have a handle on him. But that sets things off. Klaus turns your direction, Shapiro turns your direction, and so before anyone else acts, we're going to have to draw some initiative at this point.
Sorry,
right.
guys.
I was gonna blow the place up, you dick.
You were going to blow it up?
He's by the stove still, technically.
How is that a better idea?
I almost want to know, but we don't have time. We're going to draw initiative.
Yeah.
All right.
Wild card.
So that one's going to be for Ahuva because I draw for heroes first. That's her. Tanner, go ahead and draw yours. That's a 10. Shannon. Ahuva got a 6. I should have said that. I keep trying to say initiatives for the sake of the listeners. Shannon got a 3.
Son of a bitch.
Yep,
Son
Lindsey.
of a bitch. I'm sucking tonight.
Jack and the villains will draw together. That's unfortunate. It makes sense, though, in the sense of things. So the villains draw a queen, which means they get to act first. And I'm going to have Bonner to act first because he was the one who was kind of, attempted to grapple. Shannon, as soon as you do that and you kind of like wrestle each other away, when he backs away from you, you kind of expect him to swing with the bat, and you almost instinctively raise your hands to block from a swing from that. Instead, however, he points the bat at you, almost like he's like calling a shot to hit. And when he does, he looks you dead in the eye, and you see his pupils start to dilate. And he starts uttering some sort of something. It almost sounds like what you heard coming from Sylvia. But it's not quite as guttural or as demonic. It just sounds like it's slipping in that direction. And in that moment, you see what looks like almost like a bolt of force come rushing from the end of the bat directly at you. What is you? Oh, I don't need that. Hang on. I just need this right now.
So he's basically got the sword from The Legend of Zelda when you haven't lost any hearts.
Something like that. But he's pointing right at you. He doesn't swing it at you. He just points it at you, and then it's almost like he fires it out the end of it. Yeah, that 6 is going to be good enough for hit. So let's see how this works. All right. I need you to... This thing hits you square on in the chest, and it's like somebody punched you as hard as they could in the stomach and knocked all the air out of you. And what's weird about it is you see this thing rush at you. It's almost like a ball of light in a way. For a moment, it kind of reminds you of the orbs that you've been seeing all this time. But it hits you, and it hits you hard. I need you to make a vigor roll for me, please.
That's never good. I've never made a good vigor roll.
Now's the time.
I don't think. Oh, thanks, buddy. Imagine if I would have grappled the guy. I'd be eating dinner right now because I still haven't eaten dinner yet.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought this would go faster.
With the roaches,
Well, the economy is in shambles. Hey, that's a good vigor roll.
It's not terrible.
It's good enough. This thing hits you, and again, it's like somebody punched you in the stomach and knocked all the air out of you. Fortunately, you braced yourself, not for this kind of hit, but it's enough to deflect it that you drop to your knees, but you are not out of it yet. In game terms, you are not shaken. Otherwise, you would have been. Okay? You are prone, so your movement is going to be getting up off your feet if you want to do so, but that's the only mechanic that you're going to suffer there.
Okay.
Yeah, with that, Bonnard is going to stay in close to you. He's not moving anywhere. Klaus immediately wheels his gun as that happens back toward Ahuva, and he fires. And if you thought that 6 hour was loud, the Colt 45 is significantly louder. Luckily,
can she dodge bullets?
Well, in this case, she's good enough to do so there. Yeah. He wheels back, and I guess I would say what happened in the moment here is moving from trying to keep his gun aimed at you to taking a shot at her in the motion. He just barely misses. It whizzes by. As a matter of fact, anybody looking would see her hair go flying up as it goes by, and it connects with the wall behind her and puts a nice little bullet hole in the wall. But he does not hit her. That being said, he now moves around behind the dining room table and takes cover there so that he can fire from that position. That is going to be it for them, which means we're going to come back around to our heroes. Lindsey, you are first. What would you like to do?
No.
Not having seen what happened. Now, to be fair, remember, you can...
But I
can,
had to have heard the shot.
Oh, yeah,
though.
you're hearing all of this going on. Just as a reminder,
Okay.
you can't hold your action. You just have to act before the last person, or you are last in line.
I'm going to hold for now.
All right.
Because I don't want to move right after hearing a
All
gunshot.
right. Then we are going to move to Tanner is next in line. Tanner, what do you want to do?
Okay, I'm still beside the stove. So what?
I can't get over the bomb. I'm sorry.
Oh, stand by. What kind of stove is it?
No, Tanner, why? Okay.
It's not a gas range, if that's what you were hoping. It's an electric stove.
Well, then that just fucks up my whole plan. Thank you, Hunter.
I mean, they're new construction homes, man. Like, it's, you
Yeah,
can
but
certainly pick a gas range, but you
he's
get the
a-
idea that this guy kind of took whatever the standard options were.
He's an old German guy. I figure he had a lot of other things I've seen in this house have been old fashioned. I figured maybe the stove was gas.
Well,
You figured since he was German, he would have a gas
I
stove.
knew it was coming. To be
Oh,
fair,
damn, let it go
his
there,
furniture, his furniture and his personal effects are. But again, you get the idea that this guy was not trying to make any waves anywhere. So yeah, he would have taken whatever was the standard options.
Okay, do I see a knife block anywhere in my general area?
Let's find out. Keep forgetting I have to bring that back up. So you're basically right on the 6th there. Yeah, there's looking around that long counter to it's on the left of the map. It would probably be your right because you're facing the dining room. There's one basically a diagonal square behind you on the very end of the counter back there.
Okay, I'm going to go to that, and I'm going to get 2 knives, because obviously there's going to be a butcher knife.
Yeah, there's a butcher knife.
Obviously.
What do you want, like a fillet knife while you're at it too?
Yeah, probably. Sure,
You
yeah,
want damage
whatever.
and dexterity is what you're looking for here?
Yeah.
Just make you some coffee while you're out there.
Yeah, okay, sure. The thing is fully stocked. It's nothing special, but yeah, you can grab a couple knives out of there while you're at it. Yeah, you're dual wielding knives now.
Yes. Now, how far am I from the doctor?
Well, you would have had to move 1 square back to do that, so you're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you got 5 squares of movement, so you can get into the dining room, but you can't get adjacent to this guy. Basically, you can get right up by Shannon.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, and how far is Shannon from the guy?
He would be 2 squares away at this point. Bonnert at this point is, if you're looking at the map, he's where the number 5 is in the dining room. Klaus is all the way on the other side of the dining room table.
Okay.
And you're going to be 1 square into the dining room.
What's the chances I can throw a knife and hit the doctor?
About
Holy shit.
as good as whatever your throwing skill is. There is a throwing skill.
Did I pick a throwing skill? Because I'm baseball.
Indeed, you did. You have a D6 in throwing, so you can definitely try.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay,
I'm being Shannon tonight, guys.
Look, it's the last episode. Let's get crazy. I was almost the hero.
No, I am.
Yeah, D10 is good enough to hit with a raise. I'm gonna say it's like an improvised throwing weapon. So, gosh, what does a knife do on throwing? Let's go with. Well, first of all, which one are you throwing?
So I'm gonna throw in the butcher knife because the fillet knife is gonna be longer, so I have more reach with it.
I mean, all right. Let me step out of the game for a second here. Your reach is all gonna. You're not gonna be able to reach multiple squares, so neither one's gonna matter.
Okay.
I don't know what makes a difference to you. It just seems, frankly, they're not. I'm not gonna mechanically make them any different. It's totally up to you. So I just want to make sure that you understand you're still only gonna be able to hit one square away with either one.
Okay, we'll just throw the fillet knife then.
It doesn't matter either way.
Fillet knife.
Right. So, oh gosh.
Flay is going to be more aerodynamic.
Yeah, I'm gonna say damage on that is gonna be 1d6 plus 1. Not as much as a gun, but it's certainly gonna hurt. Okay, yeah, 5 damage. You hit, you pierce, and it goes. I'm gonna say like right into his shoulder. Matter of fact, it goes into the one where he's holding his flashlight, so that thing goes rolling to the ground. You shook him, and yeah, mechanically it's just going to be a shake because you hit right on the button. No wound. I mean, he is wounded, but for game terms, he didn't take any additional damage there. But yeah, you definitely rattled the guy, for sure. He's got a knife sticking out of his shoulder. You know, that sucks for him.
It does.
That's going to interfere with his nightlife.
It's really gonna it's gonna hurt his prospects for sure. Okay, yeah, movement attack. That's gonna wrap it up. Lindsey, do you want to jump in?
Can I ask if there's anything in the living room, like a lamp or a vase or something that I could get a hold of?
Sure.
That would be like a blunt object.
Yeah, there's a floor lamp against the wall that leads into the. Actually, I tell you what, there's a floor lamp right beside the easy chair there, the reading chair. It's like 10 feet in front of you.
Okay. I would like to move and get the lamp.
Okay.
And then head through the living room towards the dining room, so I'd be coming up behind him.
Okay, so from your space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The closest you can get will be right around the corner, like in that square right beside where it says cabinet, and there's that thick black line that separates. Mm-hmm. You would be in that one in the living room.
And that's perfect if I can stay there and just kind of stay hidden behind the wall for a moment.
Yeah, totally. And you got your bow staff floor lamp. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so that's
what I want to do.
We're gonna wrap up that initiative, which means it's gonna come back to me. It's gonna come back to Ahuva, and much like Klaus, since she was fired upon, she is going to take a shot at him. Unfortunately, he has cover, but we'll see what happens regardless. Yeah, that covers enough to be. You know what? I tell you what. Let's spend Ahuva's Benny, shall we? She's got one to work with. What's that?
For the record, I'm ordering Emo's Pizza.
That's good. Are they going to be open by the time you're done?
Why would you do that? But that's probably one of the only places you can still get to deliver to you.
Yeah, they're open till 1 a.m. and it'll be ready at 12:30.
Oh, they're delivering.
I'm thinking we'll be done by 12:30. I hope.
Yeah, you'll be fine either way if they're delivering. I was afraid you're going to have to run and go and get it. All right, she's going to spend her Benny, re-roll, and that's much better. Even with cover, that's going to be good enough to successfully hit. So let's see how much damage she's going to deal with that. 8 + 3.
That's $25 a goddamn pizza right there. That's an extra large pepperoni with Provel bites.
That's good though.
That cracker better taste good.
Wolf that thing down.
I'm gonna eat them all. Lindsey, you want to come down and eat some?
I might.
Okay, so she
munching on pretzels and bagels is just not really cutting it.
I didn't want to spend $25 on pizza, but like this is the last goddamn one too. I'm not spending more money on food.
Okay.
Do I dare ask how much you've spent on pizza this week?
None, because Maria bought pizza for me and then Tanner bought pizza for me. So.
Oh, okay.
That's a good.
Thank you,
good
Tanner.
wisdom. That's a good move. All right.
You could thank Maria too. She's definitely listening.
Thank you, Maria.
There you go.
So Ahuva takes aim at Klaus, even though he is behind the table, and she does manage to wing him in the shoulder. It's not his shooting arm, but she shakes him up a little bit in the process too. And then she, like him, also takes cover right there behind the table. So they're on either side of the table taking pot shots at each other. And that's going to wrap it up for her, which means, Shannon, you're last in line. What do you want to do?
Oh, baby, here we go. All right, I want to grab that knife on that son of a bitch
and
doctor
just
start stabbing the shit out of him.
You want it, is what you're telling me?
Oh, yeah, I want it. I hear him every night in my baby's room.
On QVC. That's what you sound like. Okay, so your goal is to pull the knife out of the guy's arm and then stab him with it.
Just start stabbing him in the back.
Okay. Oh gosh.
I'm actually going to commit murder in this one. This is great.
I'll tell you what. Make a fighting roll, and we're going to use that as your grapple for this, because you're not trying to grapple him. You're trying to remove this thing and then attack with it. I'm going to make it all one thing. For the sake of brevity, we'll make it all one thing. Hey, Derek Boxdorfer, here's your action, by the way.
Derek, if you ever said, I like Shannon's characters in these games, but I wish he'd actually commit murder against a human, here you go. Maybe. Who the fuck knows when you roll 4s all the time? You got a you got a D8, and you're rolling 4s, kid.
So yeah, all right. Here's how we're gonna handle this. You're not able to get a hold of the knife because this guy is flailing because he just took a knife in the arm by another big guy, and he's trying to get it out of him himself. So basically, you just can't quite get a handle on him to do so. But you are able to move up, into his space. So you got him cornered now, basically backed up against. He would have to head into the living room, where of course you don't know, but Lindsey is lying in wait.
Well, it's okay because I'm going to get first on the next initiative, and I'm just going to stab him again.
Well, let's find out because it's time to draw initiative again. I'm going to draw for Hoova. Tanner, go ahead and draw yours. I got a 7 of diamonds here.
I'm going to get an ace. I'm going to get an ace this time because that's something
Tanner's got a 7 as well of clubs. Shannon?
Well, here comes the ace. Oh, my God.
It's the exact opposite. It's a 2.
It's a 2.
Lindsey, draw yours.
Why?
That's a jack. And then let's draw for the bad guys. That's a 10.
They'll get the ace.
No, they got a 10. Remember, what you really want is a joker, because then you get bonuses on all your rolls.
Lindsey, grab the knife and stab him.
No, take that lamp and impale the dick.
No, I'm going to bash him in the head with the base of the lamp.
Okay. I like it. Yeah, and I mean, basically, you guys are going to be flanking this guy, so he's going to have a disadvantage to, trying to parry away from this. So go for it. Yeah, roll me a fighting roll.
Come on, Lindsey.
Yeah, do better than me.
Somebody pray on it.
Fucking,
I'm gonna pray on this.
Suck daddy over here.
I'm trying to hit the right keys on the keyboard.
Praying on it.
I started as a journalist. I ended up as a fuckboy.
Why not both? Cody Sandusky said.
I got
yeah.
No, that's not just a hit. That's a hit with a raise. So again, we're gonna say your damage is gonna be whatever. What's your strength?
Strength is a D4.
Okay, so it's gonna be a D4, plus a D6 plus 2. Now these don't explode, so leave the exclamation points off.
Yeah.
So D4, D6 plus 2.
Clicky, 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 click, click.
Not a whole heck of a lot.
No, but it's enough. It's enough to cause a wound because he's already shaken. So yeah, you come down on the back of that man's head, and it's a glancing blow, but it's a bloody one. Like the spray happens when you hit. It's
Yeah. Oh, like when I cut my finger at work today.
Yeah, it is. It's not arterial, but boy howdy, it's not good for him either. He's now been bashed with a lamp, and he's got a knife sticking out of his arm still too. So yeah, you hit him. You hit him solidly. And that's going to move you into the room, so that'll be your movement as well, unless you want to keep moving. You've still got pace to move.
No, I'm good.
Okay, yeah, you guys are pretty much just surrounding this guy. All right, cool. So then that's going to be, it's time for the villain. So why don't we go with the currently injured one? That seems like a good place to start. He's got to see if he can not be shaken. Yep. Yeah, he's going to be able to shake that off. I'm going to rule that the knife is still in his arm, but he definitely comes back almost reinvigorated from that. That being said, it takes his entire round to basically just, get back to his feet and swing wildly with that bat to try to keep everybody away from him at bay. He's not going to be able to attack in the process. Klaus, on the other hand, needs to do the same. Klaus is no longer shaken. But again, he does not have he took a bullet in the shoulder before, so he does not have time to then pop off a shot. He continues to kind of move around the table, but he's moving away from you guys. Bonner, where he is unable to move. He's surrounded, so he's just trying to keep you guys at bay. The good news is that's going to soak up their whole turns.
Okay, real quick, which side of the table is he moving towards?
Klaus?
Yes.
He would be, if you're looking at the top-down perspective, he's moving toward the left. He's moving to the left corner.
So towards the
bottom left corner, front of the house.
Okay.
Yep. And then Ahuva goes next because we're going reverse alphabetical. So she's up. Not shaken. She is, as Klaus is on the move, going to once again take a shot at him. 8. All this time, by the way, she's shouting something about. She kind of dips in and out of Israeli about how the Burkun will never return and these sorts of things. Oh, yep, hit with a raise. Yeah, she wings Klaus once again. So let's see what kind of damage we're looking at here. Enough to shake him and enough to cause a wound. That one hit a lot harder than that last one. She caught him probably in his shooting arm that time. So he's in pretty not great shape coming out of that. And she's also moving basically to keep pace with him. Ahuva is ducking behind the table, but she's keeping up with him and reloading as necessary too. That's going to be it for her, which means Tanner, you're up.
I am going to run from where I'm at to the corner that where the man is that she just shot. And I'm going to try to bury my knife in him as deep as I can.
Okay, so run will get you far enough because you would only have to roll. You won't even have to roll for it because 1 would get you adjacent to him. Yeah, so that's going to reduce your parry to 3 till to your next turn. But yeah, you can get up on the guy and you want to stab that knife in. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, make a fighting roll.
Let's see, what was my fighting?
Janet, can you hear me?
Yes, I can now. What'd you say?
Well, I said never assume in life. Don't think that carrot big because carrot big leaf because small leaf carrot big not leaf big size. It's big not leaf big size that gets me. Oh. For how long? How much of that did you miss?
I caught Tanner. Like, it seriously went quiet for a few seconds. I heard Tanner say something, and then I heard you go Shannon. So I guess I missed a lot.
Oh, I was just messing with you.
I rolled a 5.
Oh.
Yes, you did. Parry, where's his parry? 5 is not going to be good enough to beat his parry. So it's the running, I think, that throws you off because you're trying to pinpoint exactly where he is, and you go in to stab, and in the process, actually, I'm going to say as Ahuva pops him in the shoulder, it kind of throws your aim off, and so you lunge and stab into the wall behind him in the process. It's not stuck or anything, but you just barely miss as he goes by.
Yay, property damage.
All right. You moved and ran an attack. That's going to be it, which means, Shannon, you're up.
All right, I'm going to end this shit this time. I'm going back after that doctor because I know he's still around.
He is.
And it's the same game plan.
Yes.
I'm still reaching for that knife, except this time I'm going to keep. I was going to say I'm just going to straight up slit his throat, but that feels like a call shot. I'm going to keep stabbing. I just want to stab him.
Okay. You got to get it out of him first. Make a fighting roll.
Oh, for the 6th time tonight. Let's see if it goes any better.
I should point out at this point, Lindsey's the only one with a Benny left as far as the PCs go.
Well, I still can't roll anything great, but at least I rolled something not terrible.
Yeah, and that's good enough to match, which goes to the attackers. That's good enough to match his parry. So yes, you will indeed do some damage. So you pull the thing out, and you go in to stab with him. Knives, I think we said was strength +1. So whatever your strength is, +1 is your damage.
And it does not explode.
Does not explode on damage. No.
All right. So a 9?
No, an 11.
Yeah.
11. Yeah.
No, it's one. Your strength is D8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't get the D6. You don't get the D6 on the damage. You just get the standard
9.
one. Yeah. So it's 9. It's the 8 +1, so 9 damage.
Okay.
9 is good enough for a hit with a raise. So yeah, you pull it out of there, and wherever it was before, I know you didn't really so much call the shot, but you stab right back into the same wound, and it just goes so much deeper because you don't have to get through anything now. You're getting through what's already cut and going even further. As a matter of fact, where that caught him kind of like right in the shoulder the first time, you caught right back in that same spot, and you see it the tip come out the other side behind his shoulder.
Yes, and I yell out, "Stabba-dabba-doo!"
It's my new catchphrase.
It's my new catchphrase.
Yes. Okay, he is shaken and wounded as well, much like his partner. It's a new round. You ready?
Now I'm gonna get the top and I'm gonna stab him in the face.
Hoova's got hers. Tanner, go ahead. Things are getting bloody. Shannon, you're up.
I'm gonna stab him so much in the face, and I'm gonna be covered in his blood, and I'm gonna lick it off the blade.
Please get a high one. Oh yes,
there it is.
Yes,
there it is.
Good.
Lindsey.
I'm gonna drink the blood of my fucking enemies tonight.
Oh yeah.
Lindsey's got one. And then I'm gonna pull for the villains. There it is.
Don't be an ace.
Oh my god!
Son of a bitch!
Damn it!
Oh, well, here's the good news for you. They got to not be shaken first before they can even do anything. So you might get lucky and they may not get to do anything.
You trying to shake my monkey tree?
Let's do... I've been doing Bonnert and then Klaus, so let's do Bonnert first. Oh!
Dude, I hope you have one of your headphones off so you can hear your knock at the door when they deliver your pizza. Ouch.
So...
Big leaf, not carrot.
It's big leaf, not big size.
So who's bleeding to death right now?
All right, so... Wow. I'm not going to go through the process. I tell you what, I'm going to save us a lot of trouble here. Technically, if this were a PC, and it's supposed to be for these guys too, this is where, because Bonnert rolled Snake Eyes and he is out of Benny's. And it was on a roll to attempt to not be shaken, and he's wounded. Normally, this is where he would get a permanent injury. Like, okay, he's got that spot in his shoulder. This would be where he goes to try to get the knife out, and somebody kicks it and it just straight up cuts his arm off or something. Instead, for the sake of brevity, what I'm going to do, since he was already wounded 1 and that would have brought him to 2, rather than a permanent wound, I'm going to say it goes to 3. So I'm going to just kind of flip this over to Shannon real quick. You stabbed him back in the arm and it went back through his shoulder. How do you kill him?
So many ways. I'm going to grab the knife and just put it straight to it. I want to, you know what? I'm going to do the Punisher. I'm going to grab that son of a bitch, put it under his chin, and just straight up through his jaw into his head.
Oh, all right. So you pull it out from his shoulder blade, and as you do, he starts ranting, and speaking it or not, you all definitely know he's speaking in German. Whether you understand what he's saying something in German. And as you pull that knife out, it gives him a little mobility. So that right arm starts to snap up in the salute, and he gets zig out before you manage to go straight up through his chin and through
Kimball would be proud.
and through his tongue in the process. His arm immediately drops to his side. He slumps against the wall, and he is dead.
You killed a Nazi.
Yes.
I murdered a man, finally.
No,
Okay.
you
Now,
killed a
Eating
Nazi.
chickens for
Now
me.
it's not your turn, to be fair, so we'll come back around to that. That was just Bonnert losing his turn on a perfect set of Snake Eyes. All right. Klaus has got to try to not be shaken. Let's see if I can roll Snake Eyes again. No.
Nope.
Not this time. Nope. He is.
That would have been awesome, though.
He is still wounded, but he is not shaken, so he definitely still has that bullet lodged in his shoulder. He does manage to get a little bit mobile, and he actually now turns to the window behind him, and he is going to try to break that window out. So...
Oh, don't be a little bitch.
Tanner, let's not instigate and antagonize.
So the 7 is good enough for him to break that window out, and he starts crawling through it. Now, you hear him also muttering something. He's trying to get that bullet out of his shoulder, but he crawls out through the window behind him. You don't get the idea that he gets very far, but he is definitely making a run for it. Okay. That'll end the villains, which means we're going to go to the heroes. Lindsey has the higher king, if in reverse alphabetical order, with the King of Hearts. Lindsey, what do you want to do?
I want to take the bat from our downed doctor.
Yes.
Did you say
Because
down
I am more
doctor?
comfortable... Down doctor. I slurred a little bit at the end. Because I am definitely more comfortable swinging a bat than a lamp.
Okay. And what do you want to do?
Are the other guys crawling out the window right now? He's not fully out of it. He's just crawling out the window.
He's definitely trying to get out, yes.
He's trying to get out the front of the window of the front yard.
And I'm assuming he's at the far set of windows because he was making his way to that corner.
On the
correct?
map, he's at the one that would be on the way that the map reads. He's on the north wall. It's the one closest to the garage.
He's at the far window adjacent from
the
us.
closest one to the garage.
I don't know if I'm cool enough to pull this off.
If you're talking about going over to the table, do it.
I'm honestly thinking about jumping up onto the table and then swinging the bat down onto
Do
his back.
it.
It's 10 after midnight, man. If you've ever been cool, this is the time.
Yeah, okay. What do I need to roll if I want to jump up onto the table and jump back down?
That is gonna
bat above my head.
I'm gonna make it all just a one thing. A, for the sake of brevity, and B, just because it's cool. So it's just gonna be an agility check.
Okay.
And it'll be part of your movement.
Okay.
Yep, 4 is good enough. All you need is to hit that main number to succeed. Okay, so yeah, you're able to use, basically, rather than having to go around the table, you can use the squares of the table as movement to get to him, which means you've got enough to get there.
And just go up and
Yep,
over.
Totally. And you're wanting to, like, jump off and come down on him with the bat? Is that the idea?
I basically want to use the force of jumping off with the bat above my head and just bring it right down.
Do it. Give me a fighting roll.
Okay.
Kill that Nazi. Oh, wait, you don't know he's a Nazi.
I mean, his name is Klaus.
I'm going to scream, kill that Nazi!
This is the part where I should mention that any resemblance to people, real, living, or dead,
Yes.
is purely coincidental, because there is, I'll tell you that later, there is actually, anyway.
And the funny thing...
I already know because Maria already told me. When she heard the name, she freaked
Oh,
out.
God.
As far as all of us go, I'm pretty sure I'm the one with the most German heritage out of all of us.
Yeah, you should have just told him your last name. We could have got out of this.
When you said that last time, I almost instinctively spoke up, and then I remembered, because I'm used to being like, Hendrix is pretty, but then I remembered. So.
Wolfgang?
Yeah.
I got a 5.
Yes, you did, and because he is injured, that brings his parry down just enough for you to hit right on the money. So give me some damage. It's going to be your strength plus 2. It's not enough for the additional D6. You didn't hit with a raise, but strength plus 2.
All right. Oh, you got to put the D in there, Lindsay, otherwise it ain't going to work. You said plus 2?
Yes.
Not much.
Yeah,
I am such a wuss.
this is the part where, again, I don't want to go hard on the DM roll, but you do have a Benny left. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, sure.
All
Let's
right.
do it. I got
just
one
press
left.
up and it'll let you.
What do I do?
Just press up and it'll show up one more time there for you to re-roll.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
sweet.
It lets you roll the
Did I
exact
do
same.
the exact same
Oh
thing?
my gosh, you really did. Wait. Oh yeah, your strength is a D4, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Well, crap. Well, it is what it is.
I just don't have enough weight behind me.
It's the moment of, the adrenaline rushing and trying to keep track. I mean, you hit him for sure. It just doesn't do the kind of damage
We
you want.
didn't realize he was wielding a T-ball bat.
It's here's what I'm thinking. It's more he's kind of half out the window and you hit him in the butt. Like, yeah, it probably hurts, but it doesn't cause a wound or anything. It just sucks because he's laying on a glass-covered window and you smacked him in the butt with a baseball bat. As you do,
Oh well.
All right.
I tried to be
You-
cool.
hey, you got all the way over there and you're right on top of him. Shannon, you are next.
I want to go over to this gentleman, and instead of murdering him, as I should do, I want to try to get the gun away from him and point it at him. Like, basically keep him... I basically want to subdue him.
Okay, so you want to try to wrestle his gun away is what you're telling me.
Right, because I figure we should probably keep someone alive.
Okay. All right.
fun in that?
What I'm going to have you do then, so here's the thing. His front half is out the window. So to do that, you're going to have to either lean over him and kind of like grapple, or you're going to have to run all the way around outside and get around or go through another window or something like that. Basically, if you're trying to grapple something in his front, unless you're outside the building, you're going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage because you're going to have to lean on top of him to do so.
All right, screw it. I'm going to grab the knife and I'm going to run and just stab him in the back.
Okay. You can do that as well. That is also an option.
I was gonna try not to kill Germans, but
you
you
could've
know,
threw
if
the
I
knife.
must, I must. I got to put the D in there to make it work, Hunter.
Why? Why would you do that?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Because he likes making fun of me.
Let's go. All right, so yeah, you're gonna have to run to get there, which means you're gonna be at a -2 to your parry until the start of your next turn. But yeah, you can definitely get there by doing so.
Yeah, I ain't worried about trying to parry this guy. All right, is it a strength?
It's a fighting. Roll fighting.
Fighting
to attack.
Oh, it's don't worry, it's like the same thing. All right. All Nazis deserve to die, but not today, probably, because fuck.
No,
me.
that's a hit. Yeah, because he's
got a
wounded.
fiver.
He's at a -1 right now on stuff.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
his parry is down, and yeah, that's enough for a hit. The knives, what do we say? They're strength +1.
Yes.
Yep. So whatever your strength is, +1. Oh my gosh.
Oh shit.
All right, so
This is what happens every game. We can't win because then we start fucking up rolls
here's-
and extending it.
So here's the good news. You didn't actually get a D6 there anyway, so you didn't actually roll snake eyes. You only get a D8 +1,
Right.
not +1 D6. The bad news is you rolled a 1. So regardless,
Right.
it's still a
So
2.
basically,
Which is
it's
still,
like I threw a grape at him.
it's that thing where you
grazed
grazed
him.
him, you hit him, but you just didn't like really wound him. You cut him, but it's just you didn't catch an artery or sever his Achilles tendon or anything. You just cut him. This guy is parrying more hits hanging out a window than I've ever seen anyone try to do. So let's see if Tanner can hit him. Tanner, what do you want to do?
I'm going to take my butcher knife. I'm going to raise it above my head. And just
You're gonna yell duck tie.
just channeling every bit of
Naughty?
Michael Myers I have. What?
Just go on, man.
do it.
Go on.
Channeling every bit of Michael Myers that I have in me. I'm going to bring the knife down and bury it in his back.
Does he know Michael Myers was the bad guy? It's fine.
Yes,
it's
that's the point.
yeah.
Not in Tanner's
Roll
world.
fighting.
Okay. Whoa.
Okay.
My roll 20 went crazy for a second. Hang on.
Uh-oh. Well, we have been using it for almost 3 hours at this point.
It's fine.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I'm at 221 is what I'm counting here, so we're definitely wrapping up soon.
Shannon, is
Same.
your pizza there yet?
No. not
Die,
here.
motherfucker!
I mean, okay, I feel the need to remind you that this is indeed a hit with a raise, but that means that you're going to roll strength plus a d6 plus 1.
That's fine.
That's a 17 to hit, which, yes, is a very good hit.
He just would rather have that for damage.
Yes.
Yes, I would. Let's see what I can do.
It's something you can do.
Lick himself.
A 10.
Yeah, 10 damage. Okay. That is enough.
Rectal canal.
That is enough to shake him and add that second wound. So yeah, you come right down in the middle of his back, and he lets out a scream. Of course, he is now hanging out of the house. So in the moment that happens, you start seeing lights come on down around the neighborhood. If they weren't on before, they are now, especially with the cop car out there and the lights are still blaring. But yeah, you
And probably all the gunshots.
yeah, at this point, there's been a lot of noise, a lot of light, and a lot of ruckus, and now the neighborhood is decidedly waking up. Even at the Gray House, now you're seeing some commotion starting to take place. Okay, so that's going to end it for Tanner, which means we're coming back around to Ahuba, who has not acted yet.
She's probably standing there, eyes wide open, like, what the fuck is happening?
Well, she's all the way on the other side of the table, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, thank God she has a gun.
Shoot him in the ass.
Maria's going to have questions for you if
clearly-
you keep that up.
You clearly fake Jason Klaus.
You old fake.
Oh shit! I heard a knock at the door. I'll be right back.
You're good. Go get it.
It's pizza time.
There we go. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rule the cool of this. Ahuva has been making her way around the outside of the house at this point. And she comes up. I don't want to do too much of this without Shannon here, but we'll catch him up. She comes up where Klaus is crawling through the window up to him with her gun pointed directly at him and says, "It's over. It's over. Give it up." And he says, he's coughing through blood now. And he says,
"It's pizza time."
He says, so Ahuva went through the outside of the house. She's been coming around the entire time. And she comes up to him hanging, halfway out the window and puts her gun up to him and says, "It's over. Give it up. It's done. If you're lucky, my country will only imprison you for the rest of your life." And Klaus is now coughing through blood. And it's almost like he's trying to laugh, but he looks up at her and he says, "You really think this is going to go your way? This is going to look like a murder scene, and your hands are all over it, and you have nothing on me." And in the process of him saying that, as he's doing so, Ahuva reaches with her free hand inside her coat pocket and pulls out her cell phone, which has been recording, and you can see clearly for at least an hour now. She says, "Really? You sure about that?" Klaus, in one quick moment, tries to reach down and pull his gun up toward her, and she fires directly into him. Directly into his head. Yep. Because he is
sure does.
shaken. 1, 2, and that's wound number 3. That bullet is enough to put Detective Klaus down for good, and he goes limp, hanging between the front and the back of the house, or the front and the outside and the inside.
Part of me was hoping you were going to get snake eyes, and somehow the bullet that went straight in his face didn't kill him.
Well, she's
still tough son of a bitch.
Still had a Benny to work with, so and with that, as the moment that happens, there is a loud, almost like hum of energy from behind you guys. Turning to look toward the gray house, you see this bright column of light appear to almost burst from the roof. The roof is not damaged. It doesn't actually open, but almost burst from the roof upward. And thousands, it seems, though it's probably only hundreds, it happens so quickly. Maybe even only a few. Maybe they happen more than once, but like orbs of light race upward through this column up into the sky. And just as quickly as it starts, there's another loud hum of like a down powering, like a downshifting hum, and it's over.
That's some freaky Ghostbuster shit.
Skybeam.
All right. In the immediate moment here, what do you guys want to do? Neighbors are now starting to come out of their houses. In fact, you also see at the gray house that Lisa and her kids have stepped out onto the front porch. She's holding Marissa up. Marissa is pretty good distance away, but in the streetlight, you can see that she looks like a normal little kid. The first thing that catches your attention, she's not as sickly as she was before. It's just like the life has returned to her. And the three of them are standing on the porch looking in your direction, much like the other neighbors now who are very confused. There's a cop car with its lights going. Doors are wide open. There are broken windows around the house. And the four of you are standing there.
Yeah, how did we explain this one? Like, the mutant chickens were one thing. I feel
we let the detective that's here explain it, and we're just incidentally here helping.
I feel like we should go over to the Grays and just kind of say, as I'm covered in the blood of a German doctor,
it's been handled.
It's done, and I would like to be paid, please. And then Tanner goes, "We never were getting paid."
No, she offered to pay us.
I don't want to drag it out too long, so we'll kind of hand wave through some of this stuff. You guys,
I think this is one of those things that, like, the best ending would be, it's the movie where we're all standing there in the street and we make the joke about getting paid, and then the camera just kind of zooms out with the sirens and all that, and roll credits.
Well, there's as much as I love that, there is a little more to that I want to just put out there so you guys are fully aware as we kind of wrap things up. So you three make your way over to the Grays. Lisa, who immediately starts expressing her thanks. And in turn going to the three, she's got tears in her eyes because Marissa is clearly in much better shape. Matthew is too. Matthew doesn't get it. He's tired. He doesn't understand what's going on. But Marissa is very, very much a lively little girl again. Something that you have never experienced around her. But like any little kid that you might expect, she's in good spirits. She's tired because it's clearly late, but she says, "I think it's over" at one point. And Lisa says, "I think so too." And so, as this is happening, Ahuva is making phone calls. Several more police appear. They're not guns drawn, though. They're not hostile. They come to speak with her. Eventually, they do come to speak with you guys as well. But they talk to her first, which is fortunate because Ahuva then pretty quickly turns over her book. And that she found the book that she found with the listing of the members of the New Barcoon apparently, and she goes through and translates names and dates and things that they were up to, and while the cops are very much hesitant to take that as a full, okay, this totally makes sense. By the time that they get to you guys, they say, "Listen, we don't really understand what happened here, and we got a cleanup crew already taking care of those guys who, as far as we knew hours ago, were members of our force. Here's how this is going to go. We're not going to arrest you, but we're going to need you to stay in town a little while longer. So don't head out anywhere soon, okay?"
Not Perryville.
Can we?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I got nothing.
I'm going to call Hunter.
Can I get my backpack?
I'm going to go stay with Hunter.
Can we all stay with Hunter?
No, just me.
I have.
Okay, fine. I'll message Mary Jo and see if I can stay with them.
We have a guest room and we have a futon. We can take care of two. Ahuva has her own hotel room, so she mentions that she may be in touch with you guys in the near future, and that you'll probably have to meet up at the police, but for the most part, she just needs to go to bed and forget that so much of this just happened.
Yeah, let's go.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Let's.
Yeah.
I was talking.
He's.
I was talking to Tanner.
I was just thinking of something funny I saw on Herman Ted.
Yeah.
So before she leaves, though, she makes mention that she still doesn't fully believe what she just experienced, and she has to believe there's a rational explanation for it. But that being said,
oh my god! So it's the dad.
Zombies.
It's the dad from fucking
Zim.
from Invader Zim. Yeah.
But that being said,
This is a hallucination.
that being said,
son.
she will be in touch with you soon because we're gonna have to debrief all of this.
Yes.
Oh, Shannon wants to be debriefed.
Easy now. This is a lady.
Damn it.
And so she does leave.
Lindsey, you got to put the D in it to make it work.
I know.
She does leave. Yeah, if you give me a call, I mean, it's super late, and I'm wondering why you're calling me at 4 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, I got a guest room and I got a futon, so I can accommodate two.
Because it's like every time we're in Perryville at this point, we call Hunter at 3 in the morning and go
why.
like, "You ain't gonna believe what happened this time."
So I can accommodate two.
I'll sleep on the floor. I don't care.
I show up at Hunter's covered in blood.
Parker might not appreciate it, but
I tell him, "Don't worry, it's not my blood."
Oh, that makes it better. There's a hose if you'd like to grab that and just, take care of all that.
It's dry at this point. I'm just gonna
leave
sleep
your
in
shoes
it.
outside.
Do that
Shannon.
anyway.
Well, yeah, that's you're right. That's just being polite in Hunter's house.
Within a day or so of this all sort of coming to an end, Lisa gets back to you guys and mentions that they've experienced no more activity in the house. That night, of course, was the worst of it, and they managed to sort of hole up in Lisa's room, she and Marissa. But it seemingly, whenever you guys left the house, whatever happened in that other house put it into it. They experienced a rush of cold air at some point and a clear beam of light making its way through the house. But Marissa mentions that she saw Amy one more time and that Amy looked better, and for the first time ever she smiled and said thank you, and she hasn't seen her since. She's been sleeping well. Again, there's been no activity there in the house. Lisa does actually mention that she would like to pay you, though there was no discussion of payment. She'd like to pay you $2,000 each for your services.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And so
Thank
not
you.
only does she do
Yes.
that, but she also says that she, again, is an attorney. And so if there's any legal situation that arises out of this, not only will she be willing to help you just in general, but she can also offer her services pro bono for something like that.
And I'm not even going to make any jokes about the words you just said.
That's a good idea. That's a good.
That's
move.
a good
That's
idea.
A good move. That's a good call.
That's a good look on me. Yeah. You know, when you stab a Nazi to death, it kind of matures you a little bit.
over the course of the next
Does it?
week, you guys are called in to kind of just explain the situation of what happened. Ahuva is able to not only turn over enough evidence, but also basically show and explain what happened and connect the dots for the cops that within a week the investigation comes to an end and all charges are dropped. Nobody's billed, and everyone's allowed to go free. Ahuva actually leaves without making contact, but she does send an email to those weird kids at Podzilla1985.com to let you know that she's grateful for your services and that if she's ever back in the States, she'll look you up sometime.
Like, me specifically? Fuck. That's all right. I already know a girl in Perryville. It's fine.
The one little coda toward the end of this is this, as if I can pull to a scene where we're not using the actual PCs and kind of just describe kind of a movie type scene. As the investigation is wrapping up at the Heimglimmer home, of course, the cops have been in and out taking things through. Someone notices that the dining room cabinet is a little bit out of place and pushes it to the side to reveal the open doorway that you guys found too. So they get the camera to come by. Hey, bring this over here so we can document this. And they head down into the basement where they also find a pentagram on the floor, tons of candles all about, some statues, one of which has been thrown all over the place. One has been toppled over on the table, but the rest are still standing. And you can hear the cops asking each other, what is this? What's going on here? As they come down the steps on the right-hand side, there is sort of a bloody smear on the wall, but nothing else nearby. And as they make their way through the basement, they say, this is the only room, this is it. And the camera turns, and something jumps forward, and there's a scream. And that's where things end. And that...
What have you done,
And
Tanner?
that is going to bring
Zombie
it in
apocalypse!
to the Horrors of Perryville series, Last Rites of the Blackguard, or as we've come to know it, the Last Rites of Tanner Calvert.
I hate Perryville, guys.
Yeah. And now we're stuck here for a little bit.
All right, so with that in mind, just to keep that on target before we go into the general wrap-up stuff, now seems as good a time as ever to mention that we have one final installment in the trilogy of the Horrors of Perryville. Our heroes will once again be playing themselves in the Savage World setting, another great game from 12 to Midnight Games, but I'm not quite ready to reveal the name of it, so you'll have to tune in next week to find out what it is and what they're going to be up to this time, and what the party composition is going to be.
God.
We've talked to Cody about possibly jumping back in. He hasn't been around since the Ghostbusters game. I need to talk to Jesse, see if he wants to. Asa has in the past expressed interest in possibly getting in, so we may have another edition. I'm assuming the three of you are coming back.
Yeah.
I've fought mutant chickens. I've murdered a Nazi. I'm definitely coming back.
Yeah, I got to see this story through.
Yeah. Got to know what
I will
happens.
try my best to keep the work schedule non-closing,
Why?
but I will make no promises.
Do you not like staying up till 1 a.m. doing this?
Not particularly.
Yeah, I apologize for the length here. I did not.
I mean, it's my fault that I was trying to help a coworker out. So
the more stories you tell, the longer this goes.
It goes on till question marks.
It just keeps going. Who knows? So, yeah, that's going to wrap things up for tonight and for this particular adventure. Guys, thank you so much for sticking with us. I know this is a longer one than we've done for the past couple of episodes, but we wanted to wrap it all up tonight for this particular adventure. Again, if you have missed any of our previous shows, you can always check them all out at Podzilla1985.com. It's where you can also check up the backlog on the rest of the shows, everything else that we do throughout the week. If you'd like to get in touch, you can send us an email, much like Ahova Shapiro did, at literally anything at Podzilla1985.com, and let us know what you're thinking. Get in touch if you have suggestions for the future. If you have any input about what we've done up to this point, I would love to hear it personally. So let me know what you're thinking and what's going on. Do you guys have anything to add before we take off?
Just that tomorrow's episode of PW is going to be very, very interesting.
Oh boy, it is the hashtag Speaking Out edition of PW.
Oh man,
I don't know if you saw the Keith Lee Twitter post that I put in the group chat just a little bit ago. From that,
I saw that it was there, but I haven't read it yet. I'll probably read it tonight before I go to bed, like when I'm in bed.
It's rough.
Yeah,
it's
as a man I've now taken a dick flip from a sexual predator.
Yeah, boy,
how that makes me feel.
And it has been a week. I don't want to get into it too much right now. It's been too long as is. But
tomorrow,
Wrestling Unscripted tomorrow night. Me, Shannon, Dalton, and Asa will cover all of that and more. Thursday, Podzilla After Dark is back, I'm assuming. All right, so that's you, Jesse, and Lindsey discussing the news of the week that hopefully won't have to involve any more of that.
Plus something that he'll make me come up at the last minute, probably.
Yes, Lindsey will come at the last minute.
God.
I'm going to destroy you.
Friday.
I know where you
Friday,
live.
As always, it's the legendary Podzilla 1985 group chat podcast for happiness. Lindsey says she's got something special in the works for us for this week. You never know who's going to show up or what we're going to do because neither do we. So
you're absolutely
I won't be able to be on, but I will send you content.
Oh, okay.
So show up.
Okay.
I have to close again
show
on
up
Friday.
on Friday and find out what it's all about. Then we do it all again next week. Anything else?
Hell yeah. No, that's it. I want to go eat pizza.
Please do. All right. So for the good of the order, we're going to call it there. Thank you once again to all of you guys for listening. Thank you to Lindsey, to Shannon, to Tanner. And next week, the beginning of the finale of the trilogy of the horrors of Perryville. I'm your Game Master Double H. This is PZ85 Plays, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Later.